getting elected in these communities after so much work was put in. What are your thoughts? Why is it so hard for us to get into these positions in the community?
Well, I have a lot of thoughts on this, and perhaps I'm the most experienced in the community. Like you said, I've run for the state senate, I've run for the state assembly, I've run for the city council, that same seat twice before. Here's the issue that faces us and the problems that are associated therewith. America is supposed to be a land of democracy. And I want to congratulate Romeo and all the other candidates for running and putting their hats out there, throwing their hats in the ring. Because of these, it gives us representation, it gives us a voice. It makes that others know that we have been left out and we're very much part of this whole game. Part of the whole, when I say game, I mean part of this whole reality and part of this necessity of political representation, having a voice. And we will not stop until that is done, like every other community. We just saw Zoran Mamdani ascend to winning the, most likely, the Democratic dictatorship and defeating Andrew Cuomo. So things are going to change and things are going to eventually fall there. But let's get back to the question you asked me as a starting point from this. The reason why we have not been able to win, and I'll go back to Rusat Rangopal. He ran last 2 years, and Rusat ran against the speaker. He ran as a Republican. He didn't fare well because the district also has a large amount of Democrats. But I compliment him also for running. You had Ram Joda, you had Mike Duval, you had Tad Rajkumar, you had Trevor Roop the Rhine.
Dr. Dan Paul.
Dr. Dan Paul the Rhine also ran with Dr. Robbie Mahadio. And you had, Lali's father-in-law, I forget his name now, but there's a lot of people who always run in various cycles. When it came to my turn, I had a very professional. I was the one who started, spending a lot of money, getting a lot of consultants, doing polls, doing research, mapping demographics. As you can see, I have a whole set of maps in my office and diagrams and statistics. We went deeply into this thing. But here's a major problem, Leon. It's a very good question you've asked. Is gerrymandering, meaning that districts are supposed to look like this. And I stand up to illustrate the point. This is South Ozone Park, and this is Richmond Hill, South Ozone Park, and Ozone Park. You see Ozone Park, South Ozone Park, and Richmond Hill. And this is the Van Wyck Expressway, correct? Yeah, Van Wyck Expressway. They have divided our community and truncated us so much. I call it the pizza pie. This was what we fought for, and we actually got it, but then it took it away from us, but this is in the assembly. This only happened 2 years ago. We went and we testified and showed them that a community of interest must be kept together, South Ozone Park, South Richmond Hill, and Ozone Park. And they denied us at the 11th hour because of the dirty politics that's there. By the way, I must say Zoran Mamdani, to his credit, did support us, but he was a voice in the wilderness, and he was a very junior state assemblyman. So I must give him credit for that. However, we didn't have enough people. Perhaps he had lobbied more on General Rajkumar and David Weprin, we might have had a better seat, or we would have had justice, but we were kicked out. This is Weprin, so he preserved his stake. This is Rajkumar, she preserved her stake. Pfeffer, she preserved her stake. And this is Khalil Anderson, preserved his stake. So all 4 of these state officials, as public knowledge, kept their districts intact. By doing that, they diluted our vote. They deprived us, and they kept themselves at the status quo. This is the problem called gerrymandering, sliced and diced. This was an actual exhibit I testified with and showed the commissioners. And they didn't accept it, but we had a lot of other people go. We had at least 50 people from various organizations. Mohammed Q, Maminta Kilawan, to their credit, they went. Unfortunately, the 2 candidates and ministers did not go, or they would have understood that they're running in a heavily marginalized and dissected district. So they end up becoming like, I would say, like victims of this lack of knowledge and lack of participation in fighting for a joint district, which should have been like this, right? So what they did, Leon, this is Liberty Avenue. This is Claire Sherman's district, and this is the part that is divided. This is where Romeo ran for, this part here, right? So you can see the Guyanese and South Asians of Bangladesh are divided by this line, this invisible Liberty Avenue line. Imagine they draw a line in the middle of the economic heart and power and soul of the community. Put it to Council District, Shulman, and Council District Adams. And then Adams dragged us all the way across the Rochdale village. And it overpowered us. And not because she speak, I will talk about her. She did us an injustice. What she did was to put a guy on commission that is South Asian. And this is how these dirty politics work. They put people who you're going to say, oh, that guy's like me, he's going to represent us. But these are the very people who, and I think somebody used the term soup drinker somewhere. These are the people who sell their own so they can maintain some status quo. They can't run on their own and win office. But
yeah,
they can also create havoc through a third party, through a proxy. So when they put them in the commission, they vote us down and they kick us out silently and shake your hand and cut your throat. So gerrymandering is the evil of this problem that has faced our community. And that's the first problem we've had there. The second problem in this district is that there was a lack of unity amongst, let's say, South Asian Guyanese. Romeo declared his candidacy first. He spoke to me. I told him that, it's a 65% black district. But if you want to run, I'm not going to run. Because people did that to me in the past. But I want you to run and you can win. However, and I said this publicly at his opening, which I attended, because I wasn't going to have too much with it, But I mean, I believe in. I haven't been treated, I would say, like very nice in the past by certain people, but I was willing to forgive and forget and move on. They were against me running there. They couldn't see the bigger picture I was showing them. I was using my own money and funds, so it hurt me a lot when people sort of insulted me and turned their back on me, knowing that as a successful lawyer, I didn't need politics, I didn't need this, but I was using my skills that I developed in Guyana. As a magistrate, the youngest magistrate and state prosecutor, state council, the age of 22, as a man who got credentials from Dr. Cherry Jagan, the letter here, Dr. Jagan is in my office. I followed his footsteps. I'm not a Johnny come lately. And this is Cherry Jagan giving me an award here, Leon. Cherry Jagan signed by it, thanking me, Albert Baldeo, since 1990. To Albert Baldeo, attorney at law, which I still am in Guyana, Cherry Jagan complimenting me on freeing some people for treason. So I was initiated in Guyana as a fighter. I went to Queen's College and I was groomed for leadership. I have trained, I've been groomed from Queen's College, where they produce leaders. They produce Burnham, Jagan, Ramsay, Ramphel, all the great people. David Rose, Granger. But I'm not going to say great, I don't mean great politically, but those who have ascended to presidents, of 90% Sam Hines, have gone to Queen's College. It's a training ground for leadership. And I myself, as a lawyer, have seen the inequities of the system. So the problem there now is that the Sikhs must respect us, because there's Bangladeshi Sikh and Guyanese here that control this community or dominate it. But it's called Little Guyana. We have the majority so far, although our majority is declining because a lot of people are moving out to Long Island or Florida. Guyanese are not standing up and fight. Indo-Caribbean people have been accused of not being civic-minded and power-minded. As long as they get a little, what you say, like once they get success in America for some basic level, they don't think about political empowerment, they don't think about empowering their own, they don't think about getting out and vote, they don't think about having a voice, so we don't have to cut and run. We're always cutting and running from, since India, we cut and run to Guyana and Trinidad and Suriname and so on, and we cut and run to America. I don't know where else we want to cut and run. We have to make this our citadel. We have to make this our palace. This is our home. This is where we have struggled and worked 4 or 5 times and 4 or 5 jobs and made it here. So the apathy, that is, the lack of interest. And I was at the polls, I walked around and I'm saying, same old story. The candidates tried their best. They did what they had to do. I was very impressed with the work they did. Like you said about Romeo, I feel very sorry for him. He did do the work. I was very surprised. I congratulate him. But there was a lack of respect from the other candidates to come up with one consensus candidate. This happened to me in the past. So this is not only happening to Romeo. Japti ran against me when I ran against Adabo. And split the vote. That was just 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. So this has been something continuous from people. And then the guy that I ran for district leadership, I ran against a Sikh. Mm-hmm. And I ran against an Indian guy named John Albert. And the Sikh guy's name is Sujinder Singh. Sujinder Singh called Suki. And I had to beat him. I had to beat Suki because it was a very tight race. And you had the Sikhs with their placards and me with my thing and so on. It was very close. It was a bitter battle. I don't know if people realize that, but But 6 years ago, we were already into it with them, and I realized that this was not good. That there was too much pushback from them as a caste system and thinking of us as different from them. So I had to address the others and said, so let me tell you something. We're in America. You are not judged any differently from me. We're all from the lowest caste here in the eyes of Americans, as you understand the word caste. The word caste does not exist in America in that sense. But it exists in the sense that we as minorities are kept to the lowest stratum of society, economic power, and politics. So this caste stuff that's in your mind, get rid of it. Because over here we are all one. And when you guys are beaten up due to race crimes and hate crimes, we are the first to stand up. And I stood up for a lot of them. You check YouTube, you'll see a lot of rallies have gone there and fought for them at the highest level. So there's time to have mutual respect. I've gone to all the good warriors and so forth. Same thing with the Bangladeshis, but they give us more respect and love. I must say that about the Bangladeshis. So Leon, perhaps it was the fault of the candidates not to build alliances. Perhaps they were not ready for that position. Perhaps they would need to do more work. But whatever it is, I believe that the fact that that there was not a consensus candidate. But then people may raise the argument, well, the Guyanese candidate got the lowest votes. So that can go, both ways.
Well, some of his votes went to Japneet Singh.
Correct.
Because a lot of people supported Japneet, who, and this is a fact, Japneet jumped into the race many months after Romeo already announced. So what you're saying is that they should have polled and they should have decided who, that Romeo alone should have run, because the vote is kind of split.
I told Romeo that you must get in touch with Japneet, because if you jump to the race, neither of you are going to win. And he did mention some Guyanese names. And these Guyanese names are the ones who were backing the Sikh candidate over the Guyanese. So you're right. That is the lack of cohesion. This is like I don't want to use the word crab dog mentality, but the pull dog mentality is coming from our own people.
Yeah.
Because if you notice, it was our own people who went behind him.
Yeah.
Against their own to support him and to prop him up. And perhaps to give him in his mind, bro, you will do better than him. But when you add the two votes, it comes up to the same thing that Ty Hankerson has. So it means that they might, with a consensus candidate, we might have gone much closer. And here's a third issue now that they failed to do. And I told both of them this. I told them to run with another candidate, preferably not between the two of y'all, but they're already run against each other. Run in this voter rank, in the rank choice voting, choose either Latoya or choose Ruben Wills. Because I know that Ty won't have gone with anybody. So had they gone with both of these people to get a second and third ranking, as happened in the Mamdani case with Lander, that is how Mamdani was able to overcome Kobo, because Lander gave him.
Yeah.
And that is the importance of rank.
They band together, to overthrow Komo's votes.
So neither of these guys were interested in it. When I spoke to Japneet, I told him get somebody to run with you, and I told Romeo's people. They look at me as if I'm talking something different. But you see, it's different now, Leon. The voting is different with the ranked choice voting. You have to get a second and third ballot so you can get those votes going in under your number 1, number 2, number 3. You can build and you can pass the threshold. And this is what Mamdani did with Lander. And I think he did it with, yes, he had another candidate too. The Jamaican mayoral candidate. He didn't get more than 2%, that candidate, but it was good that he got him. So I think we got to change our strategy. We got to get people like this. The fifth thing that I see here missing, Leon, none of these candidates went to the actual voters. Look, Romeo touched perhaps the whole world, and it's thanks to you guys and your reach, and I was very impressed. And we can send a message out to the whole world through guys like you and Rhonda.
Yeah, I was on the ground with Romeo and Rhonda and everybody else.
And a lot of views.
And Romeo had a lot of volunteers, and he really made some inroads. Everybody come and they shake his hand and they love him and so on. But it's really sad that our own people, I don't know, when you don't like somebody or like you let the personal thing get in the way. This was an election, and people could have put all their personal thing aside that they had with Romeo and just supported him, instead of banding with. I mean, everybody's free to support who they want to support, but
it was a tit for tat, because the two of them fighting each other when the real competitor was Ty Hinkerson.
Yeah.
That was a guy who was riding or running away with the race while these two guys were caught up fighting. And this was a very sad thing that happened again. And that happened to me in 2000 when I ran. I was the first to declare my candidacy. And then two other candidates came in and destroyed the vote. Now, I got more than these two candidates combined twice. But when they added up our votes together, we got the same votes as the person won. So what you're saying makes a lot of sense. You've got to have a consensus candidate in the next election going forward. You cannot have this sort of like splitting of the community, splitting, and it's a lot of tension. Like
and that's a strategy they're using now in the mayoral race.
Yes.
I see the Republicans are pressuring Curtis Lee to drop out so that he can band with Adams to throw Mamdani out.
And these things do work. That's going to be a contest.
Yeah, it is.
And they'll keep Como there to slice down Mamdani's vote. So
well, they're saying Como mightn't run anymore. But if he comes out of the race, it's just Adams, Mamdani, and who else did I miss?
Adams,
Mamdani, and Curtis as a Republican.
Those three,
Mamdani will run as a Democrat. Right. And Adams, he announced his running today on the steps of City Hall. He'll be running as an independent.
And they're probably trying to get a Republican line.
So the Republicans and even other New Yorkers are banding now towards Adams as their best hope to not get Mamdani elected.
And you know, a lot of race and ethnicity plays a part in this. I've seen it happen to me. When I ran and I got within 5%, half a percentage point of Maltese, the Italian guy, they banded together and brought an Italian Adabo to run me out to run for this.
But Mr. Baldeo, this District 28, we were in our pre-interview chat. Rochdale Village is included in it, South Jamaica. And you were alluding to the fact of how different this side of the Van Wyck is, demographically, ethnically, from the other side of the Van Wyck.
True.
And that when they redistricted, Rochdale and so on was included, right? And you have a different view of things. Of how the redistricting should have worked.
Yes, because
that should not have included Rochdale.
Yeah, they use this as
Village.
filler. They slice and dice this into the 4 pieces, and then they use this as filler to fill up the district. So what Adams did to us was a disservice.
So that's the current District 28 map?
No, but it's very much of what happened in. It goes all the way out to Rochdale Village. But I have the map somewhere, but I don't have it right now. But I'm trying to describe it to you, which I think I can. It slides down the middle here, Liberty Avenue, right? So we only have this bottom part down here. We don't have the top part, right? Claire Shulman has it. And the Van Wyck, which is a natural geographical divide, we testify that is a natural divide. You have a lot of housing, not only Rochdale Village, you have housing projects. And we have 1 and 2 family homes here in Richmond Hill. And that is the key. Because you're supposed to have, according to census law, which we researched and fought, and we went to court with that, that they must be kept together communities of interest. So how are you going to bust down Richmond Hill into 4 pieces and then have Rochdale Village kept whole? So you see the overpowerment. The district is 65% black. And I told Romeo this is going to be a problem, brother, because this bill, 65%, is going to come out more because they outvote us 75% to 80%. So
and a lot of Guyanese live on this side of District 28.
Correct. And then we don't vote, and the people then they feel that they shouldn't vote, and for whatever you got to. I don't know what else you got to do with them. I'm very upset with this. I have fought that. I've told them. I've paid the passage, taken them to the polls, done this, done that, and yet they don't come out and vote unless there's some problem with basement issue or the Department of Billings or immigration come. It's only if something happened then you find it or people in the Caribbean go to vote. And that is bad. You have to go out and vote. Voting is free and it's sacred. And that is where the community let itself down.
So for our viewers, we're using the term redistricting.
Correct.
This is where a committee, right?
Right.
Mandated by the state?
Mandated by the Constitution, yes.
Every 10 years they do this?
Correct. In all states.
Every 10 years in all states.
Census. Correct.
After the census.
Correct.
They sit and they listen to hearings.
Yes.
They have hearings in the community, in the district, where people present drawings and exhibits and so on. and say where the lines should be drawn.
I kept together which communities will be
And
kept whole.
we have several districts that make up New York City, right?
Oh yes, you have Chinese,
And
you have Italian, Jewish. You
So
know,
this
Latino.
process lasts how long? How many weeks?
It lasts about 3 months and all. And I like the word you said, hearing, because to me that's all they do. They drink the coffee and have the hearing.
They have the hearing. So
But when it comes down to closed door, they don't do it openly after that. We have criticized, and as I've shown you with the districts, it is just not fair because we have continued to be sliced and diced, gerrymandered, marginalized, exploited, and just about every word you can think about. Just because of who we are. It's like apartheid. It's like you consider us less than American, not to give us our rights. And that is only being a further problem in addition to our people not going out and vote. That is the killer thing now when you don't have even a district together. You know what I mean? But I must tell you too, one of the candidates is a great disservice. He did not campaign in the whole district. Whenever you run, you got to go and campaign in the whole district. Nobody can win a district running in just a small part of it. And I hope that better minds prevail. Like I said, I congratulate all of you guys. I hope that you guys can, that you guys can learn from these mistakes. It's all a learning experience. Don't take it, everybody's lost. Everybody's lost districts. Abraham Lincoln. Was it Lincoln? Yes. Lincoln lost about 13 races before he was elected president of the United States.
Okay.
And many other people too. I've lost quite a few races. Some I've closed. Some was cheated. Won that state senate race. I won. I was declared the winner. And then I pulled it back and said, no, Maltese barely beat you. And that was a state senate race bigger than city council these guys ran for. That was 2006. That's in the history books here. Look at it here. I have a clipping of it here. You see? And this was carried in 2006. I was invited to the White House from no other than Bill Clinton. And we went there, and this is me and him, a photograph of me and him. And I said I brought hope and pride because we had Italians, Jews, all of them voted for me, Latinos. I was able to put them together amongst the Democrats. However, since that day, they started targeting me. And they did everything they can just to get rid of me. But I've done my part and laid the groundwork, but people must do that. And what I also did, Leon, was to do this simple thing here, free of cost, that is register voters. And this office that I've had here for over 25 years, I've always registered voters free of cost here. You just come in and you fill this out. This form here, the voter registration form, is free to everybody. You can get it at the post office, you can get it for the Board of Election. This is always available even online. But you know what our people did with this? They never registered, Leon. They never did this. They never did their civic duty. And even so, the mandis, the churches, the masjids, all of them, I call upon them right now as we're at this point. I call on all the associations. You got the Indo-Caribbean Alliance. That's headed by Richard David. You got the Indo-Caribbean Federation. That's headed by Ralph Tamesh. You got the South Korean Women's March, headed by Aminta Kilawan. You have the Jihadi Sisters, where that lawyer, she is... Shavana Jawahir, the Lions Club, the Rotary Clubs, Drum, that decides right is rising up and moving. The only way you can rise up and move is through this form, by enhancing, creating a new voter base, creating a new voter system, creating something over the district. And you see what I'm saying, Leon? If you gerrymandered us and give us 4 pieces, I will take that 1 piece and register everybody possible and get them to the poll. That is the only way we can win. But it does cost a lot of money and time. It's unfair, yes. Yeah. But that is the only way. You give us like a basket to fetch water, but suddenly we come from a country where we have made water from baskets. Chaya, they do a lot of good programs. Caribbean Equality Project, that's Mohammed Q. APA Voice. That's a Korean organization, mostly based in Jackson Heights. And what we need, they look after their own. APA Voice, they got their own district. That's where Mamdani is. He got his own district and all of them over there. So we've been left out in the, and sort of like shortchanged, even in the lobbying for these districts, because people use us and they use us as filler and they use us to do their work, and we end up getting little or nothing, and we're never taken care of because of that problem. And these are major issues that is, and I must tell you now, this is probably the worst issue that they have. You have independent expenditures. One candidate had was it 500,000 or a lot of money?
Over $700,000. Yeah. Ty Hankerson, let's see it.
Yeah, Ty. We must have a level playing field. But I don't want to badmouth Ty too much because I know him and then we want to be able now to work with him. But I will tell you this, though. Ty volunteered on my campaign in 2005. That's a lot of people don't understand this. Every time he sees me, he says, "You're my first employee." He was just a student at 226. And he brought like 12 students to work. Of course, I used to pay him to go and, lobby for me in the right areas. But since then, the Ty showed to be a person that had good instincts in politics because he used to bring the folks, his fellow students. They used to come here and carry out the work and do so. And I sort of was impressed with them that they had their mind in this thing. They didn't just come here to some people just come and take the money, right? I mean, like you can't hide because you don't want to see a video. But there's some people who take your money, they can't spend. So, I'm going to get you some votes out there. And never go out there, end up at some rum shop or in the restaurant and don't couldn't care less about the candidate. That has happened a lot. People rob you all the time and people don't know where it is to run. People rob you, highway robbery, and they take your money and run with and so forth. But what I'm saying is this, Leon. This independent expenditure, if you're going to say, listen, we're going to cap you at $200,000 for each candidate. And I'm happy for these candidates that wasn't spending their own money. In my case, it was my own money. All these races I ran, I had to put my own money in. So you multiply the 200,000 by the 5 or 6 races I did, and you get an idea how much I spent. So when people come and try to criticize me and try to take their eyes and pass me, go back and think again because I have had to put my own resources. I had no matching funds. I had to do it all on my own. And many of you out there who are now trying to run and this and that, you never cared about it then, and now it come back to bite you. It's like karma.
There wasn't matching funds when you were running?
No.
Oh, so this something kind of new?
That bring out now.
Okay.
And say, well, we want a level playing field.
Oh.
But how people have been able to, influential folks, and so they have gotten the independent
the lobbying, yeah.
You even have Airbnb instead of Dice case.
Grubhub. DoorDash,
These
DoorDash.
two people, the hotel trades and Airbnb are loggerheads. They have 7.5 million, and other folks, wealthy folks, billionaires gave him money, similar to what it did to Trump.
Bloomberg and so.
So how are we going to ask for a level playing field, and you're asking the other candidates not to exceed $200,000? Now we're going to give you, and you got somebody dumping 10 million and 20 million, and in this local race case, more than $500,000. It's unfair, and I'm sure that Ty himself would not like to be analyzed in that context, that man, it's the extra money helped you to get there, you know what I mean? Because it looks bad on your part that you took advantage or you were used as a pawn in this political game. And hence, and look at it came after me. Our people are so terrible, Leon. I had to give my money for them, they're saying. That's what the charges said, that Baldeo gave them money to give you running campaign. You own money, Canada got money. And when people go and ask them for the money, they say, oh, Baldeo money. So they sold him and hypocrites down the river, and they sort of like criticized me, and they sort of like betrayed me, and they lied because I told them you had a Fifth Amendment right to law. You don't have to speak to these people. I don't know how they get involved in stuff like this. A small city council campaign, you got all these top law enforcement running down a little old coolie man because he's small and he's an immigrant. That is the advantage. Never run down Trump, never run down Cuomo, never run down May Adams. They drop out.
You can also view me on my personal profile on Facebook, and we're on live on TikTok as well. So we're doing a triple stream tonight. We're here with Mr. Albert Baldeo. So we're really talking about, the post-election discussion in our primary election that just took place on Tuesday night, and redistricting. Mr. Baldeo has opined that played a major role in the results, the redistricting again. So redistricting is basically a committee listening to people from the community and taking all their, or they're supposed to take all these, they listen, and then they go to the drawing board and draw the maps and redraw the maps. Every 10 years this happens, right? Correct. You said. In every state, and they rubber stamp the same map.
Who talk to them, which one up there is.
And then the map is approved. Then who brings out the map? The city council speaker?
It's just like published.
It's published.
They don't come and face
and you can't oppose it. You can't have a second chance at it. Whatever is published is published.
Yes, that's their final decision. Sign and seal.
That's their final decision.
Speaks on behalf of all the electorate. Which is a good point you made. That is not democracy. And if you want to go, folks, you go on YouTube, Google my name on YouTube, and look at me and Albert Baldeo redistricting. You will see the spirited presentations I made. One time they wanted to I don't know, trying to lock me up or threaten me or something like that. And I stood up and tell the guy, what's your problem? This is America. We have a constitution to go with. You were bound by the law. You were bound by the law. And when I finished with them, they shut them out because I was telling them, we are not here to beg you a favor. We are here to carry out the law. And you are. They take an oath, you know.
These commissioners.
By the commissioners.
Okay.
10 of them, right? And then they go, let's go to Brooklyn now. They go to all the high schools in Brooklyn. They go to York College.
Is one people going to all the hearings? It's one commission.
Yes.
And these people are paid by taxpayers' money.
Paid and have lunch and hotel and travel.
And this, how long this redistricting happening in America?
As long as they want. They got
No, like this custom, this every 10-year custom. How long has this thing been happening, this redistricting process?
This really became like the last redistricting here. We had one before which we went to. The same guys, that's 609, the same job. And they had one before in 2000 that I went to also, and then I realized what was going on here. So every redistricting now, I must say, our people have gone out more and more like compliment.
Oh, more and more, okay.
They know, and they got more intelligent folks now coming up, right? They went to college and they realized this. Felicia Singh, Aminta, Jawahir, Muhammad Q. You know, we have a lot of folks now, and it's just their interest in the country. And I know they're going to fight and expose it later on. But they want, when they finish, they laugh and smile. Thank you for your interview. Do you have any papers to submit? If you go online, you will see I got a big document like this with maps and statistics and efforts to give them. Do you know, Leon, these people, when they go in there, they probably laugh at us. And then the 10 of them said, well, what this... So we want to keep Roger Village. So you can use that place over there in Richmond Hill as filler. Fill them in and cut them in. Cut them where? And I give Joan Ariola. Right? That is where my office is, 106th Street. She has the rest of the district. And you want to tell me there's no guy he's living there in the Caribbean and they have Bangladeshi there just like us. This is Liberty Avenue where my office is. Do you want to tell me there's no Guyanese, South Asian and Sikhs living in Clare Shulman district? No. And over the Van Wyck, in Rochdale Village, which you have like this whole skyscrapers and so forth. I don't know if you ever went there. There's a lot of buildings. There's a largest co-op in the world. I spent money on those folks to help them to not to get blackouts and so on. Do you know they never come out and vote for me? And I told Romy this. I said, you know what? Carry t-shirts, carry food, and go and give it to them and talk to them and so on. You know, at the end of the day, Leon, although you can give them your heart and your soul, they're so tribal. You know, when I say tribal, I don't mean any insult. I mean, they're so like concentrated on their own and preservation or whatever. You're not thinking that the other person will have any good. They will still go and vote for, and in my case it was Tom White, and you know, he had a lot of charges against him and stuff like that, and Anna Jennings, and yet they vote back these people and don't allow fresh blood to come in who may want to do things for them. And I'm sure all the candidates would have done for them. It's really
disappointing though, Mr. Baldeo, that I'm more focused with our Guyanese people that once they hate somebody, it can be this person, like they're not looking at the bigger good of things that this person can get in City Hall. I'm talking about Romeo. Romeo can get in City Hall and be a voice for we Guyanese people. It's like many others couldn't get it and he can't get it too. Like that's how some people think. Like and the vendetta, the vindictiveness. I've seen it. I'm sure you've seen what was playing out on social media between certain anti-Romeo people, anti-Romeo, they're anti-Romeo against him, and you ran, and when you ran for city, what you ran for?
I ran for city council,
and how did you pick up yourself afterwards? Did you feel sad and so on?
I was very bitter.
You were bitter?
I was very upset because deep in my
you
heart,
ran as a Democrat too, right?
I ran as a Democrat. Deep in my heart, I knew that I didn't need politics. I was well off. I could have retired at 2004 because I worked hard in Guyana. I was employed there.
And for the public's information, what year did you run?
That was 2005.
No, the most recent
2010. That was the one that headed me.
No, to me that was I was here when you ran. I came in 2017 here.
Yeah, it was 2010, but that matter was still going on and on and on.
No, the city council, the most recent city council running when you run.
2010.
Okay. But you didn't run for something past 2017?
I ran for assembly.
Yes. That's
Look how big my name was, just like my name. Big Baldeo. Give them this free. Each of these costs $1, right? Dice, boss, some of them guys pictured so on. We did like how much? 10,000 of this. $1 a piece or 50 cents a piece, whatever it is. Look at this right away. This is just one aspect of campaigning.
So you ran for city council many times?
Oh yes, twice. Assembly, I ran twice. State Senate, I ran twice. I'm now counting them up. And my friend, like you said, how I felt. I felt very bad because there was a lot of money I threw away. My family was very upset with me. People don't know you. People tell you that you know your friends. If you were to go to any of those places, they wouldn't even give me a free Polaroid. Not that I wanted a free Polaroid. If I needed a shirt, a t-shirt to wear because I didn't have clothes and I'd spent my money out for the community, I would not have gotten it. They would have preferred to see Baldeo walk naked because they could tell me in my face, oh, you choose to run. Abdi's happy here. Abdi's American. I'm not here. You go and put yourself in that. They didn't see the bigger picture like you were saying. And people who've been here, lawyers, people who've been here for donkey years, 30, 40 years, and become millionaires, drive Mercedes-Benz, and doctors. And they couldn't care a hang. They couldn't tell the patients. They couldn't tell the clientele, insurance brokers, real estate people, doctors, lawyers. They couldn't help you out and say, you know what? One of Ozone is running. Here's a list. Go and send a mail to all them or tell them when they come in the office here. My brother, of course, Dr. Baldeo, he was a large clientele or patient. He helped me, but he was the only one who helped. The others just like would turn your back on you. That's what I'm telling you. All these people you see out there, business people, professionals, money makers, so-called leaders, so-called this and that. They don't have a vote to give you. They don't even live in a district. It's the grassroots you got to go to. And I hope these candidates think about this. Next time you run, you go straight to the grassroots. When I used to run, I used to go to Totaram. He was a lawyer. He was like he was like the mayor. They call him. You gotta go to he. You gotta go to this priest. You gotta go to this man, pandit. You gotta go to this and suck up to all of them and the Meiji and bow to their feet. Not knowing that these people can't give you nothing in voting and political empowerment. So what I did then after that, when I began to run the second time, I didn't even call them and waste my money and give them free food and lunch and all these big fancy fetes. I forgot, but I still used to. But I realized that this was a waste of time. That if I want to be elected, as I eventually got to district leader, but I should have gotten much higher, you have to go to the voters directly. Because like you guys have seen and what you've just said, if this is a district, right, you got to go to the voters within this district here. By Aqueduct and here and Morris Park and Richmond Hill, Smoky Park, well not Smoky Park, you can't remember Liberty Avenue, don't cut us out at two. So you gotta come from below here. Okay. Right? And then you also have to go over this side because like I said, one of the candidates, I don't want to call names, did not do any work over the valley. And that is not the right approach. You gotta cover the whole district. I don't know if it's millions, I gotta ask him if it's millions to everybody. Because they must know that you, Leon, is running. And they might be fed up with their own people because their people don't give them anything. Their people don't give them any resources or help alleviation in their quality of life. They don't get the health care, they don't get the food pantries, they don't get the soup kitchens, they don't get the police response, they don't get the respect, they don't get the dignity. And just like us here in Liberty Avenue, they don't clean up their resources. These people don't do anything. They just got 3-4 people they hardly in the office. So what happens? They're looking for an alternative. So you got to make yourself available and say, "This is what I can do." Perhaps the time in campaigning was too short. I don't know. Perhaps the independent expenditures. That's one of the major things that they should look at and not allow one candidate to spend that kind of money over another. And I'm sure Ty or any politician will tell you that they agree with it. And but Ty is not the only one. You got several Democrats and right up to the top. Far worse than that. And let's be honest. When somebody's running for politics.
It's so dirty. We're chatting
they're not
with.
Even supposed to even talk to the people and coordinate with them. Right? But we understand that happens. That is why Como.
It's still an unlevel, and that makes it an unlevel playing field because if he was getting all these hundreds of thousands of dollars from these corporate people, and the other grassroots candidates, not getting it.
That's why I'm speaking to Romeo. Don't feel bad. There were very many factors against you. And the other candidate, Japanese, but more so with Romeo because there was forces that you don't expect to come together and work against you to the tune of how much thousands were spent. We have to check it up and see. But
and then there was a smear campaign against Romeo, a big smear campaign.
From,
yes, from his camp. There was a nasty, dirty smear campaign.
Of some of our people, especially the females. I don't think this was a female versus female.
The smear campaign against Romeo, and I got to see a different side of him. He, I saw him going into the communities and you know, from a businessman, aspiring politician.
But the issue is that I realized that the districts
Yeah.
were tailor-made for a black candidate. Let's be honest about it. Those were ifs and buts. For an establishment black candidate. And they even tried me to to endorse against Rome. And I tell them, no, I can't endorse against my own like that. I told the county organization because they were pressuring me. And I told them, no, I can't do that. And then they said, well, you know, you lose marks with that. I said, well, I've always lost marks with this organization. And and you guys have never treated us fairly. You don't care about our community to help us to get there. So, yes, there's a lot. When you run like that, you run against the status quo.
Yeah.
And remember, there's a lot of forces you're running against. So I compliment him for standing up. That doesn't mean he must give up. He or any other candidate. You got to follow your dreams. You might not make it the first time. You might not even make it the second time. Or the second time you put together all this research and all this kind of thing, and you do the whole district next time, and you don't spend out your money so early. Because Romeo was really sending out flyers very early. And a lot of people, look, at one time I got like 5 mailers from Ty Hankerson in one day. Bam, 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 bam. But it's all saying the same thing. It's like you're seeing all this, and then when I read who's sponsoring it, it's a special interest.
And then this girl Dimple Willibuster, she ran again in Brooklyn.
But I saw Dimple,
And then and Narcisse Narcisse still won.
Woman, you know.
Narcisse is a Haitian.
So brothers and sisters, you got Haitians being elected, you got Jamaicans being elected.
When is our turn, man?
When is the guy who's ever been
When is
elected?
the
Ask yourself, we're the only people left out. We're the 3rd largest in Queens, we're the 5th largest in New York City, and we won the largest Little Guyana. But yet we're the only one left out like a dog in the manger. We are the only people Caribbean. So if you guys like that, that's a terrible thing that we have let ourselves.
We are the largest diaspora outside of Guyana here, living here.
Have a conscience to know that when people run, you've got to support them because at least one of them is.
Why can't we support our own Guyanese? Why?
I think it is because there is a natural crab in the barrel.
It's crab in the barrel. It's crab in the barrel. You see it playing out on social media. On my platform, you see all the nasty, horrible comments. Look,
you started to rise in your media,
and Mr. Baldeo, my chat, my personal conversation with Japneet Singh was leaked into the public domain during this election. All of that, the nastiness, the downright nastiness, a private conversation between two adults.
With you that he would do something like that, or leak it. When these guys leak stuff, they believe that you don't know. But let me tell all the candidates out there, everybody know your proxies, everybody knows your hirelings, everybody know your what you call people who stand up for others, proxies, hirelings, you know.
Surrogates.
Everybody knows who's a surrogate for who. You're the only clean guy out there that don't get into this gutter trench work. All of them, and they always got somebody. So when you hit somebody, there's no way coming from, right? Because they know it connected to you. That are using the crap dog, what do you call it? The barking dog. The dog.
And we get him barking right now on TikTok. Like, I don't know what is with these people. Come with a anti-Romeo.
What more you want to do with
Come with a real profile.
If you can't
That's
sympathize with the man, leave him alone.
This is part of the problem, Mr. Baldeo. The fakeness of our people. They can't come with a real profile, with a real face, and show themselves. We have a Mercedes, somebody named Mercedes on the live, and positive vibes. Yes, we are concerned with the validity of the profile because we are real. Come with a face and let's have a discussion. Come with a face, come with a real profile. I am not embarrassed because Japneet rejected me, right? So it couldn't be farther from the truth, right? But some of you are the hateful out there against Romeo.
The issue, and even Japneet was because I know Japneet well, and we have respect for each other. Japneet knows that is not the issue between he and you. Whosoever leaked that is doing Japneet a disservice.
Yeah.
Because he get a lot of criticism, so leaking a private conversation with Leon. And when you have private conversations, you don't want the person that actually take me doing a private call and hold it back and and I'm going to say who. And that is when I became so upset. I realized that person did not even clue me in and said, I'm taping you. She just taped me and she put it out back there. And I just heard it through it. And I'm saying, what kind of principle is this? You're taping me, you're not even telling me. And I was saying something, you know, like I'm not in my regular. Remember, I'm a district leader. So you need to clue me in and say, I'm taping you. You just can't say, just tape somebody surreptitiously on an offhand conversation and then leak it and play it back, you know? So I'd have a talk with Japit about that. Listen, he has his own strengths and weaknesses, but we cannot have one brown man. Let me be clear about this. Let me call myself brown man. Whether you're South Asian, Sikh, Bangladeshi, kind of next one copies of Bangladeshi going to run and create a whole problem with this thing, or a Latino. We're all the same. They look at us the same way. That you're second class.
Minority.
Why do you think I don't bother with sun cream? Because it isn't who I am. I am what I am. They will never see me different. I'm not going to be like Michael Jackson, change up your looks and all that. But we got to fight. You got to look at Mam Danny. Mam Danny went through anything, good or bad, or whether you get free. I hope he can deliver. The man wants. So our community got to learn that then people stand up for each other and listen. That is why we have to do that. But I condemn any bashing of any candidate at this point.
And personal attacks. I'm against that too. Attack people on issues, man. Attack people on issues, not on personal vendettas and all of that. It's nasty. It's on principle, and it's getting old now in our community, right? It's so immature. It's so immature, and you're bringing your nonsense on social media now.
Look,
with
we
fake
have
accounts.
some hard questions, and I'm trying to answer them. I'm not going to attack him or so on and so forth. That is his right. That is how we develop society. We have to answer these questions to the best of our ability. You judge us from that. We will not always be correct. But you asked me how I felt. You know, I was locked up, you know. I won the candidate, got a surrogate, to go inside, point a gun at the candidate's wife. First was the candidate, then was the wife. First was I was taking out a picture. This is how the false allegation is. This is what Vishnu Mahadio did. He said, I'm pointing a camera at him, at the lady. Then he said, we can't arrest Mr. Baldeo for that. Oh, he had an umbrella. They said, no, we can't do that. Then he went to another precinct and shop around his complaint that it was a gun. When they heard gun, they called and told me I got to turn myself in. Because the allegation, by the way, he had to go and swear this affidavit, which could put him in jail, that I pointed a gun at the candidate's wife. And she went in the station and rolled Dr. Mahadio's wife, Rachel. It's in the public record. She was rolling on the floor in pain, makeup pain, right now they're divorced. So what comes around goes around. Their marriage is over, and all the problems that they've had, it's all in the court record. So people can go and see what kind of people this is. He doesn't have this practice now. But these people set me up and lied against me, and karma, and God is good. What goes wrong comes wrong. I'm still alright. I'm still here. I'm still climbing. I'm still a force to be reckoned with. They are by the wayside. They have dropped off the face of the earth. These are the people who went against me, and that was what I had to imagine. That thank God Roman didn't have to go through that, or I felt very bad. It was all over the press.
Yeah, and Aminta is on the live, and she made a very, very useful comment, and I pinned the comment. She says, "I agree. Personal attacks." We were just talking about Aminta as being one of the very proactive people in those
nice to have you on the program. I've talked about
in those redistricting hearings. Yeah,
I was just mentioning the fact that I know you all have been doing this, but we got to step up. We got to create our own voting block here, because she was at a redistricting. She's one of them who knows and follow this thing. We have to create our own voter block because we have been gerrymandered and demoralized and diminished, as you know. And you're a bright person. Now, you know, if we get our people out there, we can create our own voter resources on this side of the valley. This is the only way until we break down the door in 2030. And I'm sure Aminta will be there with her group and the other groups, Felicia Singh and Shavana and Mohammed Q. These people, to their credit, they stand up and they fight. And I never see that before. And when I see all of them come, I was so happy because they're always consistent and they fight and they say the right things, and they're educated young people.
Aminta is very educated. I don't know about some of the others, but I know she is very educated. She's fair and balanced. She doesn't take sides. She's not unprofessional. And that event that they had at Liberty Palace, that
the debate,
with the debate, I think that was so unprofessionally done. I think the moderators, the questions, they were all skewed. They were skewed. They were very some of the moderators had personal acts to grind. It's so sad that how we can. I think all of that played into the election and to poison people's mind about Romeo. Like I can't understand.
Romeo personally,
like
that was against
we need to
rules. And that's against.
Like we gotta do better than this. Like. if I don't like you, that doesn't mean when you run, I should look at what you stand for, as what issues you stand for, and that you're one of my own, from the motherland.
But you know what?
No matter what.
Has done a lot in that Pagua parade, right?
Yeah.
And he had some close people to him, right? You know, he has close people with him, and these people didn't stand up with him on the campaign.
Right.
They were not even there.
Yeah, and you know, so all of this feed into the results.
Anytime
And
you go to the Pagua parade committee, you always see Harman Singh and Dan Paul on the right. These guys are very close. They've done a lot for the committee. I'm not taking anything from them. I'm just expressing disappointment. That when I ran against them in 2005, they were all up in arms against me on radio program, bad multimedia's, and now you had one of your own colleagues. So you made a good point. What it is in us, that anytime somebody run, they go against
any Guyanese run.
The friend run, or the Guyanese friend run, you can't find them.
Like, I can't understand this logic.
What is that?
Oh God, the person can do a whole set of wrong. Why can't, and you're hearing a whole set of story, I'm talking generally. They're bringing up all the skeletons from the closet to justify.
Because they know I'm an immigration lawyer, comments about clients came here, they didn't get it. I have a file for every client. I have a 99.95 success rate. The 0.5% or like 5 or 10 people that may not have gotten. So it's not because I didn't do the work. It's because they may have lied to immigration. They may have had fake social. I tried my best. I was the one who bring the backtrack people and get, now bring them over here. Took the cases and the lawyer said, go away. I don't want to go to jail. Go away. Go to another lawyer. Go to Baldeo. You took all the hard case. They were chased by white lawyers and Indian lawyers. To me, can I refuse them as my people? Backtrack is not something that you look at like a major crime. It's somebody trying to get help. I know how Guyanese, how they punish to get up in life. So can I turn my back on them, Leon? No, I couldn't. It was against me.
But personally, no matter what, I can't turn my back against a Guyanese if I see them running for political office. They can do the world of wrong no matter what, but I will see them in the office seat advocating, and I will see them as one of our own. You know? I love my country. I love my motherland.
Right.
And no matter what, that's why I was drawn to Romeo's campaign. You know, I said I gotta get behind it and do, you know, use my platform or whatever. But so much about that. If we can segue now into the mayoral race, you want to?
Sure, okay.
Segue. So
let me finish. So I'll give you 6 points or 7 points about this unequal expenditure. I hope I'm in this drafting legislation to go to the city council to push there to the speaker before she leaves that they must cap this independent expenditure or abolish it.
Okay.
Because that's a backdoor. That's where, like what you see what happened to Cuomo. Cuomo had so much millions of dollars from the billionaires, Trump donors, that he went against. Luckily, Mamdani won.
Yeah.
And the same thing happened in this District 28. And the other 5 candidates were outspent and very badly. So, and I tell Ty, you know, I mean, you're the constable, you're probably going to be, but that was unfair. You know, this is my gift. I can speak to anybody and I don't take sides. I don't bow to these people. I don't ask them for nothing. I don't ask somebody for a plate of rice. I don't ask anybody for palabri. Once God give me health and strength and I can eat my humble stuff and wear my humble clothes, I'm fine. So, and you too. So, I mean, when people listen to you, now, you think Ty is going to get away with anything? No, we'll go to Ty and say, brother, you need to put that office over here. I want to see that office up and running here because the speaker said she got all the money and all the power in the world. She said she was opening an office here. What happened to the office? It's supposed to open 1st of June, right? Where's the office, Ty? You got to put an office over here. You don't got a spot. The place locked up. They told us that, I don't know if you heard it at the debate.
Okay.
He promised to give us an office here in addition to the one in Rochester.
We're going to see if that's going to materialize.
So
I don't think it will.
But we have to keep his feet to the fire. Plus, he said he's going to clean up the Liberty Avenue. He's going to help to have a business development district. And if these folks that I tell you about that I think so highly of can do, I will go and tell them I don't care. They can do what they want.
Yeah, I think they focus more their energy on that side.
No, but then again,
and she never even come in this area here, Adrian Adams.
With your help and people like Rhonda and so on and people like Waterflow, we will get the message out that we have been. This is how we got to use our resources. Now, not attacking each other, pulling down each other. Is to get our voices out there. That we are looking at you for support and for resources, and we've never gotten it during the speaker's time. I mean, she gave us Little Guyana, and I'm happy for that, right?
She gave us that?
She was, she helped to push the thing and so forth. And to our credit, Adrian Adams.
Adrian Adams.
But I mean, Adrian could have done much more for us, right? And I tell her this to her face. I see these people, I tell them to the face, Gregory Meeks all. And Gregory Meeks used to have his office upstairs by me. So he ain't no God to me or anything like that. I see, if I see Trump tomorrow, I'll tell him, why are you doing this same? Because, bro, these people build you. They made you a millionaire. Why are you doing this?
And we're gonna come to Trump soon. But so Ty, when he go in there, how much years he get in there?
Ty will have 4 years.
4 years?
Unless some other opening comes up and Ty says, I want to be a congressman. Let's say something like Seth Hamilton retires.
Okay.
Or State Senator Comrie retires. And these are real possibilities because of age.
Oh, yeah, Comrie is old, yeah.
And, you know, he's not so...
How you can go how long you want in these positions? Or
No, there's term limits.
Oh.
There are up to 2 terms you can have.
And age now, as it related to age.
Oh,
they don't retire like how we retire.
No.
They,
You got a lot of dead people walking when I go to the county organization.
Yeah.
You'll see them walking around in canes, yes. And they
Okay.
don't like to see them, want to yo-hoo and all kind of bullshit. But excuse my language. But they don't care for us. When I used to go to the county organization as a seat of power in Queens, I used to be the only Indian person. That's about 2,000 stone, you know. And you know, people look at me and ridicule me, but I took it all because I know that I'm not that. I was equal to any of them. I had that spirit of me, you know, coming from an Indian background. That thank God things are materializing. You got people in the White House as vice president. You got Mamdani there. You got, you know, Vance's wife. We are making our name here. Byron Neer, everybody. God has given us our fullness.
So he get 4 years in there unless something happen.
But that doesn't mean that any candidate has to focus on that one seat. Listen, a candidate who is running this thing has name recognition. That's one thing that 200,000 that he got from the city because it went to every neighborhood in that household, right? So the name is hot. They must not get carried away by people and get involved in fight and bad mouth and so on. You got to show leadership. Cool yourself. Suck it in. I had to suck it in. You asked me how I felt. I felt bad. I felt betrayed. And I felt very small, yes. But I continued and I ramped up my game. I rehabilitated myself. I recultivated myself. These consultants who I told you are all crooks. I began to do things on my own. I don't depend on them anymore. I go and get my math, my statistics, my stuff. I study this thing. All them books and buy and study them and get my own thing going and discuss with like men like you, people like you who are very intelligent, so that way we can formulate and recapitulate. That's the best way to empower yourself. I would like Romy to follow this footstep. Don't get involved with people and this side fight and that kind of. This thing done and gone. And I compliment you, Leon, because you said that election is over. We now have to look forward together as a community. And yes, I support you and endorse what you say wholeheartedly because we need to do that.
So yeah, so much for this election. It really drained and strained our community.
Yeah.
It's over now. They're gonna do the rank choice. Well, it's you know, but unofficially Ty is will be the winner.
And you see what it will be, and I hate to cut you, is because he didn't. Romeo and Japney did not cultivate Ruben Will's vote, or, you know, Rankin, or Latoya.
Okay.
I know Ty wouldn't have gone with either of them. Because he was the institutional candidate. But the way Mamdani did it with Landa is that now Whitey Kovacho in the tower, he knows he's not getting no seconds and thirds.
Right, yeah.
That is going to Mamdani. Mamdani had Lander, and he had the other Jamaican brother. I keep forgetting this guy's name, man. Blake. He got Blake. He got Blake vote, and very smart politics. Blake and Lander. So Como knows that he ain't getting just number one. That's if he's not getting number 2, 3, 4, and 5. That is going to Mamdani. All the Lander people going there, so come the 8%, and then he come Blake 3%, whatever you get, he's going to push him over the top.
Right. And that brings us to, we're going to have a new mayor in November. This election is going to be another hot one.
Yes, a contest you mean, because there's going to be no coronation of Mamdani. He got to fight a bigger fight this time.
But Mamdani get a lot of youth vote for him, a lot of young people.
You gotta hold on to that.
A lot of young people who tired with the establishment.
That's true, yes.
The Democratic Party.
You know why this is so close to me and Leon is as much as I don't appreciate a lot of the policies, and I don't think that he's got a hard time delivering them, and he might always sign an extra. So don't blame me. Blame the governor. She shut down the bill.
Yeah.
It's because he's like one of us.
And he's young, 32 years old. 32.
That's my connection to this guy, you know?
32 years old.
32 years old.
Born in Uganda.
Correct.
And listen, for the record, I don't have any problem with with him being a Muslim. I see people say, oh, because he's a Muslim. No, Leon, get plenty Muslim in your family. All right? My closest adopted sister, the closest person next to, after my mom and my sister here is her. And she's Muslim. And I mind her. She grow with me. So why I gonna hate Muslims? So let me make that lucidly clear. I'm not anti-Muslim. I'm not because the man is Muslim. No.
I've seen Mr. Mamdani at many events. I've heard him speak, and I've been with many meetings with him and so on. Shared the platform.
Yeah.
He's a fighter.
Yeah, he looked like a fighter. He looked like a warrior. A political warrior.
Political warrior. And I used to think Jennifer Rajkumar was like a great, a very plausible, a Stanford educated and so on.
Yeah.
But Mamdani brings a sort of a grassroots connection and
yeah, that's what appeal to people.
That this guy is like electric.
That's what appeal to people.
And I saw him and I said, wow, look at this guy going. And I told him, I said, you got a long way to go for an assemblyman. But I didn't see him as a Muslim, and he didn't see
right. No, that's out of the thing.
Right?
He get Indian in his family.
And therefore, they should not segregate the guy from white voters and say, "Oh, he's a Muslim." They are creating too much of a fuss over this identity.
Yeah.
Don't do the disservice by painting him as only one person.
But they're scared of him running New York City. They're terrified. They're terrified of Mamdani.
I service my car yesterday. And I told the lady, she said, well, you know, this is going to cost you $200. I said, no, Mr. Mamdani said that this will be free.
Yeah, free.
No rent.
No rent.
Free food.
Bus.
Free
bus.
And
what else he said? A lot of other things.
A lot of things is free.
Yeah, and he going to raise $10 billion in taxes, tax the millionaires.
Oh, yes.
When somebody asked him how, I think it was Channel 7 reporter yesterday, Bill Ritter, and he was on, and Bill asked him how all of this is going to be paid for. He said he's going to raise $10 billion in taxes.
Right.
To pay for it.
I hope he does, and he can get through, because a lot of people tried before.
Yeah.
And I don't like the comment though that says the snake always says, because he believes in this stuff. He's a democratic socialist. It's not like he make up this thing. It's coming from his heart.
But people, even myself, Mr. Baldeo, I'm frightened bad with this word socialist.
Well,
socialist. Having heard about Burnham and so on. We are terrified of that word.
Because that constitution when it came out was socialism and communism.
Yeah.
And people used to kill us for that.
And Leninism.
And you had Fidel Castro and all that bold block of Russia and so on. So I understand with you. It's not a word that we embrace.
But should people be scared of Mamdani? Of his socialist ideas and so on? What do you think?
Well, I think the millionaires should be scared because he's going after them.
He's going after them.
So they're like 1%. So he's very smart politically. He's only looking at that small vote. But like I told you, I think it comes from his heart.
Okay.
He can act, and his mother's a great director at movies.
Yeah. I saw her in some videos with him and so on.
Myra couldn't be directing this boy to do all these, say all this with such a straight face. This has to come from his heart. And if you meet him, you will see how simplistic and down to earth he is. He could sit on the floor, he could sit on his sub. He's the kind of guy like that. I like him in that way. He has a charm about him.
Stephen Richards says they will not allow him to be mayor. Well, they already start.
Steve Richards might have a point. They're banging up against him.
Yeah, they already start because their origin Curtis Lee went out to drop off and to join with Adams to get all the vote. You know, I see a lot of. They're also saying
Adams will have another line too. He can run another Republican line and perhaps what was the other line? He has another private line that he created. Okay. So that two lines could mean
and Trump, I see Trump insult Mamdani bad, call him a lunatic and so on. We're gonna come to all that's happening on the national level. Yeah, he called him a lunatic, communist, but he's not communist. But you know, Trump is Trump. Trump talks all kind of craziness. Yeah, the mayor of London is Muslim.
This guy's a Muslim. This guy's a young upstart, Brown Science graduate, brilliant guy, young guy, talented guy. Don't just paint him as one person. You know, try to own him. You're doing him a disservice. And he is for everybody.
And what you and I are doing here, this is what we want: spirited debates on issues, on topics. We don't like any personal attack and this. You know, I like talking about issues. And I like chatting with people, and not only you, other people and so on about what's happening on the national
Now,
level
here's
and
thing,
the
Leon,
city
you made a good
level.
point. How do we bring out, how does Mr. Mamdani or Zoran, I even call him Zoran,
Zoran,
that's
yeah.
a great name.
Zoran.
How will Zoran hold on to this large following that he has, or will they drop off? I
Right.
don't think so, but I don't like
You
that
don't
3
think so?
months gap. You
Okay.
gotta really keep
From
that
now to
going.
November, you
Correct.
got to keep the momentum
You can get a lot of dropping
and keep
off.
the iron hot.
Gotta keep the iron hot,
Yeah.
you gotta keep the followers satisfied, you gotta feed the wolves, you gotta bring them all together, and they themselves too, you know. There's just fight amongst each other and so on. Because the DSA now trying to own him, and now folks who are not as radical as the DSA are also claiming their part, which they ought to do. You know, progressive Democrats. So I don't know how, and working families too. So how would all these fix in the cauldron come together that try to, you know, there's a lot of infighting. Well, we own Zoran. DSA, the Democratic Socialists, like you said, they're trying to own him. Then the moderate and the progressives and so forth, and even the Reagan Democrats. And then you're gonna get this other folks, some independents, and the young college people too, who may not be affiliated with any kind of philosophy but accept change.
Yeah.
How is he gonna manage all that? It's gonna be a tough thing, but you gotta be there.
Gao says, Leon, give him a chance. He will be the next mayor. He's a great guy.
Inshallah, we can inshallah.
And today's the Islamic New Year. So he get a lot of backings from the top echelons of the party. Bernie, AOC, Bill Clinton, I see, congratulate the man.
And Bill had,
on his winning.
Bill had, supported.
Yeah.
But that is how the Democrats supposed to be, and that is what they didn't do in our time.
But you think the Democrats too busy hating and fighting Trump that they're losing the local appeal of the people that make Mamdani come and try the appeal?
Yeah, a Democrat is not even supposed to win mayor because the Democratic Party isn't. They couldn't put a guy like Mamdani in there. They couldn't put even a city council guy. You got to run it. You want to bring your own ideas up because they're in disarray. Since Trump, they have not come together with any kind of thing. Guys like me who are Democrats, grassroots guys, they've always overlooked us, always exploited us, always kicked us out.
Yeah.
When I ran against Maltese and almost won that race, they didn't come together and say, well, oh, this guy almost defeated the state senator. Let us back him this time. And Obama was on the ticket. I certainly would have won that race. I went and looked for Joe Dabo. So what I'm saying, I begged him. He had a city council seat, by the way. He was a sitting councilman. Why he had to leave that and go and run against me? Why? Because they want everything. Yeah. They want everything, you know? They don't want to see us breathe. And some of them who come and endorse Romeo, trust me, they went against us with that seat, that redistricting. And I'm surprised, and I'm congratulating Romeo for getting on and to come out and endorse him. I mean, there's a lot of people got high sounding folks, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But as you can see, that they don't have no weight in this community, you know? In their communities, they probably will win the elections. But when they come and throw, they might have done him a disservice too. Who knows? Because, you know, people looking for your own people. But then he had the whole, what do you call it, the chutney, all the chutney, whole top and bottom in the chutney organization. So I don't know why these people don't come out and vote. But it's our apathy, our lack of civic participation that has always killing us. And that's why we don't get a place and a seat in this place to go. And we gotta go beg other people. You gotta go to other people's office that chase you out. They don't understand when you speak. They don't care about you. I call them as district leader. They just get rid of them. You know, they try to get rid of me until I tell them you can't do that. You need to find what solution you can get. You got to bark at these people.
It's time for one. We get in power, them, man. It's time. It's high time.
Since 1970s, this place was Little Italy, right?
Right.
As you can see, if the lookout, the old lookout there, that's straight down the road at a bakery. All of these places have been bought up by Guyanese and South Asians and Trinidadians and Caribbean people and Sudanese. We own this place. That's why the name is Little Guyana. So how come we can't have the ancillary political power to just help with COVID and food stamps and public benefits and police response and ambulance response? These are all, and clean up garbage on Liberty Avenue and police ourselves. How come we are paying taxes and we there like Hantem out here? We there like we don't belong. We there like apartheid, like how they had them people. How come we are the people like the slaves here, brother? What's going on in this place here? This got to stop. So I compliment them for running. Listen, if Romeo had run, they would have taken advantage of us and continued. At least you have a voice out there. You have
he made an effort. He did his thing.
So the man who's going in and say, you know what? Romeo is looking at me.
Yeah.
Japanese is looking at me. These guys are not my people. If I slip, they could come. So it's always good to run.
Yeah,
That's why I
yeah.
told them, run. I'm not going to run.
It
You're
make
going to
them
run.
make them know that we are alive in the community. We are present.
And there's a possibility that I can run against
Run
you in
again,
4 years
yeah.
if you screw up or if you mess up. It's good to have them on the focus. That's why I used to run all the time too, to let them know that, listen, we are not tantamount, we're not mega people.
Yeah.
We got people here who are going to run against you. Even when Rousseff ran as a Republican, I was happy for Rousseff because Rousseff put a lot of pressure on that woman. You know, it was a hard thing for, even harder than Romeo, for him to win. Because Republicans are far outnumbered by Democrats in this
yeah.
But he ran, and he ran on issues. He showed how 20% of the resources go over that side of the Vanwick. 80%. And we get a kush. All we get is the crumbs. 20%. No, we don't get no resources here. So at least from that standpoint, running puts them up because she was worried.
So Romeo's effort wasn't in vain then?
No, it will never be in vain. Like I said, I compliment him. I thank him for following my footsteps. I thank him for at least putting himself out there. I'm sorry that he had the pain. I know what the pain is. Several times more. But that pain only strengthens you because Roosevelt came out with a poem, and I want everybody listening to look at this poem. It's called Man in the Arena. Go and Google that poem, Man in the Arena, by Franklin Roosevelt. He was a president of the United States. And he said it's not the critic who comes, but it's the man in the arena who fights, who comes up short time and again, but who, through all that bitterness and feeling, continues in that arena. Dust in his eyes, wounds, blood coming out of him, but he still fights. It's a powerful poem for somebody to still keep fighting when the chips are down. And I compliment this poem to all the candidates out there. There's no greater tribute to you than running for your community. There's no tribute greater than running and putting your name out there and running in your community to empower your people. Not only yourself, but you're empowering people and you're doing a public service and a civic duty. To all you candidates who have run, I compliment you and I thank you. You know why? Because you've kept democracy alive and you've given it your best shot, and you must be proud of what you did. So don't anybody put you down. You continue to build from this, and there's no rules that you can't run again. You continue, you sit back, you take a few weeks off, you soak it in, you come back stronger. You pick yourself up. Many politicians have not won the first election. They can tell you Abraham Lincoln lost the first 11 or 12 or 13 before he became president. Lost all before he became president. There was a big one out there for him. Nick Perry, an assemblyman who's close to this community, now is Jamaican High Commissioner, U.S. ambassador to Jamaica, his home country. Nick Perry ran like 10 times. Failed. He said, Albert, I failed 10 times. You didn't even reach me yet. And I became assemblyman. Then he became ambassador to Jamaica and put behalf of the United States. So it is no shame, and it's not failure to run. It is the highest thing you can undertake. To put yourself out there, put your body in the line.
Easy.
People look into your life. People make up story about you. People say you've been to jail. People check when you do this. You invent story, malign you. If you feel like if you're doing immigration, they will say, oh, you rob immigrants. If you're doing real estate, oh, you rob real estate people. Oh, you didn't, you do that, and so forth.
If Leanne run and see you rob restaurant.
Yeah, that sounds so stupid from them, you know what I mean?
All the skeletons coming out the closet. Fabricated skeletons.
Just you know what I mean? That is so
but
smart.
But yeah, I gotta get.
You're right. They will find something against.
But yeah, I gotta get guts for run though. Them election days, it take a toll.
It does.
It take a toll, yeah. And
sometimes you cry privately because you don't like you cry.
Really?
Oh yes. You feel the pain. You go home, you cry. Your wife's sad. Your family's sad. My son was just 2 or 3 months when I ran, and I was locked up in jail. Because somebody make a false allegation, Vishnu Mali go and swear and take out a ballot, point a gun and doctor mad your wife. Imagine that. And then they come again after me now with this campaign. So I give money to my campaign. And this is my money, you know. And that is a crime. Imagine that. And Trump and Cuomo and de Blasio and Adams, all of them do far worse than that. Weapon all limits in the record, the public record. Google them, you'll see. And nothing ever come. All they got is a little slap on the wrist. But if it was you or me, they're sending you straight to jail or hang you on some cross somewhere. That is how they do things like that.
It's rough and tough.
So, and I know that you did a great job because you were always there live. And it's not like you were recycling a campaign commercial that you didn't have to redo. You were there live asking questions, bringing out a new side of Romeo, giving him a new angle to look at.
I enjoyed it, you know.
Going with him on the street, going with him on the stump. I can see you like that because I know you went with me on some videos.
Yeah, we and I worked together too, yeah.
And apparently you actually told him, let's go and I'll keep it live. And that was the best form of campaigning, thanks to you. I didn't see anybody else do that. Some people were helping him out and doing is bashing people, and that's wrong.
I worked with the election in Guyana as well too in 2015 when I interviewed the ministers, PPP government ministers. That's when the last election to the coalition that year.
Oh yeah.
So I kind of am energized during these election periods. That's why I'm going back to Guyana to do some coverage in the upcoming general and regional election here on September 1st. But yeah, when I watched it, I'm an onlooker. When I see you guys, when I see them running, I said that, these people got to give up their life. They got to be out there. And we had some heat in the past couple of days. It was election in heat.
Look at that. Look at that day, eh? My car broke down.
The car broke down.
So come in and see me today, but I make sure I vote because I got a 100% voting record.
And, I truly hope that now these candidates, especially Romeo, they'll take little rests and so on, You probably need a vacation,
Yeah,
like what you did after, you probably, you resume your regular life.
Yeah, just be
regular
hard.
programming.
You gotta look well your family. Family is vexed with you,
Uh-huh.
They're just vexed, but they don't want to tell you.
Okay.
They're vexed with you.
Your family.
Yeah. And the problem is, you hear rumor, they know it's lie, but they don't know if a 100% lie or whatever. Because your people are very suspicious of you. That's another bad thing you do to candidates. Not you, but talk about them and talk people's name. And invent story with them. That is not a nice thing. Yeah,
those things leave the stain, right?
It does.
It leave a stain.
And not only that, listen, I used to go to 1 or 2 places like, one grab a beer here or there. I couldn't do that anymore.
Okay.
Because people are going to just videotape it or tape it and put it on the internet. It's just man on drunk man. They always add it, guys always add a certain percentage of profit to everything. Or if you go to any social place, a nightclub perhaps, or a little a little evening out, you don't know who's trying to capture you. All you might be doing is just dancing or doing something, they're going to add to it, right?
Yeah.
Or you do this or you do that. And you have to give up all those things and stay away from public life.
It's not
and
easy.
It's a hard price, and it's a very cruel price to pay. So I know what goes through, and I sympathize with them. And when you see all that signs, listen, when you go through South Ozone Park and Ozone Park, both of candidates, I don't know who got more than who, but they did the work. And I got the mailings from all of them. It's not like they just took the money and they do nothing. They did use the money. And that's what I'm telling you, their name is hot right now.
You have Mr. Faisal Jafar Ali, a member of parliament, on the live, and it was Mr. Jafar Ali who carried me around with all the ministers in 2015 because he was party organized in Region 6.
I see. For PPP.
And for PPP. And he had me interview a lot of the ministers. I interviewed then Minister of Housing, Irfan Ali.
Wow.
Right at the NCN there in Berbice, and he exposed me to a lot of things that I'm forever grateful to this day.
Yes.
I interviewed them at NCN in Berbice, Channel 10, LRTVS, and Miss Pearl, and Dave's Television.
Yes.
We had different programs. He would say, Leon, Minister coming down, Minister Arezi Ramsamy coming down Saturday, and I see they brought back Dr. Ramsamy now in Berbice.
Yes,
so I'm looking forward to doing a lot of work with the party when I get back there.
Foundation guy. No,
he was ambassador in Switzerland, but they brought him back to Berbice. He is a humble gentleman.
Had his signs all over. It had to take effort and time. He had mailings out. He did a lot of work. All the other candidates here, we can't take nothing for granted in this country here. We just have to work very, very hard. And remember, when they got PPP, we said this is a Jagan party, and therefore we come from Kelly Jagan. We don't have that situation there, right? We don't have, let's show the audience Dr. Jagan picture. We ain't got the power of this great man here, Dr. Jagan, for say, well, vote for me. Because they don't know Dr. Jagan in America, and they might know him with a bit of a touch of communism, and just not help, which is unfair to Chetty. And then you got this People Progressive Party is one of my proudest certificates. But my problem is that if we show on voting on the Irish or on Jewish or on Latino or the people that come here, they don't know who's PPP and Jafar Ali and so on. But these are personal memoirs. But the point I'm making for this, why you ask me as to how does a candidate feel when he runs? He must feel good in his heart. Because he got nothing to fall back on. He didn't say, well, oh, me a Jagan son, or me a PVP guy, or whatever. Or me a farms born and grandson, or height, somebody for Hein Godson. There's nobody we can call when we run here except your own name. You got to go off your thing like Albert Baldeo and hope that it resonates, and your message and your work and your grassroots campaigning, and you got to go to all communities. You can't say only this is not a one set of people only, like how Guyana is. Or Guyana got 6 races, I know, but you got to deal with 2 major races to win. Over here, you got to deal with them Italian American, Jewish American, Irish American, African American, Afro American, African American, or whatever. Afro is Guyana. I think it's African American here. Yeah. African. Sometimes you get confused with all these terms. Yeah. And then you have to get and you got to be politically correct. That's another point you made. Right. How much it takes out of you. If you even go and say and colored people, that's wrong. You got to say people of color. Yeah. Even these little nuances, you got to be so precise. Not like Guyana politics with this calling Guyana background politics. That don't work. Okay. You recorded your mic and everything else. And one little slip. If you eat a pizza with a fork, like what de Blasio did, they nail it to the cross. If you do the thing wrong, you get enough problems. So, Leon, you're right to say that you sympathize with us over here, but what can we do? We live here, we pay taxes here, we got the Guyana, you can't run there. And I hope Minister Jaffarelli helped to change this law. Yeah. You got to give up your American citizenship, right? You just to be in Parliament. Yeah. Now, what kind of talent you got outside? Why is that so? Yeah. You got to make it equal. Guyana and United States are one. We are region 11. Right. Guyana has a region over here, equal, I think. So
we got more people here than them.
And we got more people here than the population back home. More, we are comfortable. So don't deny us a seat and a voice. Let Mr. Suseran go there. You should treat him with dignity. He's come back with experience from America. He's interviewed top-notch people. He has developed himself. He knows how to carry on. He's top-notch right now. How do you use a man like that? Do you just like think of him in the past tense, or do you think of him in the present and future? You need to think of us in the future and embrace us all for the talents, because everybody gets better day by day, minute by minute, brick by brick, second by second. Everybody in this America gets better. So make use of us. And open that law and open us so we can go and sit in Parliament and fight. All
these influences over here, we have a lot of power if we go back there. We give them our platform, our viewership. We come and we build ourselves up here, build our platform on social media. And when I go back, I try to show the country in a positive light. For the most part, I'm very critical too. That's in me as a human being to do. Right? To point out where faults are, and not everything should be rosy and nice. Right? But as you said,
that's the ethics of a journalist.
Yeah, they need to cater for when we want to go back to use the minds over here, right?
Look at them questions what Trump just get. And even Biden on. They don't make joke. So why should they put Leon Suseran down or not let him live up to his full stature?
Yeah. So, it's 30 minutes past 10 o'clock. We're here with District Leader Albert Baldeo at his office in Richmond Hill here. And no negativity tonight. I am not paying attention to anything that is negative, guys. Let us talk issues. Let us talk about issues and not people and not any kind of along that line,
but
please.
Look, I don't mind,
not about you, not about you and so on. But I'm not gonna pay attention, man, to the ramblings.
But let's put an end to this thing against Romeo. The man ran, okay? He qualified.
People are making a mockery that 9% he bring last and so on.
So let them go and run.
You know how hard it is to run in a campaign?
See what they gonna get.
You know how hard it is?
I already showed you guys why we can't win a seat. Because the district. Before you all worry with Romeo and criticizing him, why y'all don't worry with this? Worry with this map here. Why all y'all don't come out and change this map when it divide up in 4? This is what a candidate has to run. It's 4 pieces of the pizza pie. Why y'all don't want to fight with us when we go in and fight and got one district in Richmond Hill, Ozone Park? Little Guyana must be one. It's sliced and diced. You're going to look at it about 9%. That 9% should be 34% or 36% for anybody, right? So if you get 36%, you win. And any one of us can win. But if you're going to cut us, you don't think in Southeast Queens you see anybody else over there at Rajay Village? It's only African Americans. There's 75%, 65% of the voting power. So you expect he tried his best because they had 3 or 4 other candidates. So it was a strategic. And I told him about this. Listen, I said, you got a good chance because if it's 4 or 5 people on it, you can check my speech at the city palace when I'm in there. You have a chance. But in comes another candidate now from our background. And he divided the whole thing up and so on too. So, you know, this is another thing we got to look at. When we are running, they must respect us. They just can't come and say, oh, Guyanese is inferior to them caste system, or if that is in their mind. I'm not saying the other candidate talk like this. But sometimes I get the vibes that they don't fully appreciate us for whom we are. But I'm going to stop that because this is America. Whether my father was from a lower caste or all of us who came to America, to Guyana and Trinidad and so on, from my understanding, were from the so-called lower castes or strata society. From the time our grandparents came to Guyana, that was trying to tell Indo-Caribbean Ralph, I mean, she should have put me on to explain these things. But all these guys said something that we were equalized. So thank God that our foreparents went to Guyana and leveled the playing field, and we were all equal. And we come to the great country of America, where we're even more equal. So anybody who think about caste and we lower than them, whether and dice in your mind, get rid of that because that's going to put you in trouble. We don't need that. And don't think of us Guyanese candidates as lower than you all, or Bangladesh or whosoever. Done that nonsense. This is America, and this is a great country and a great land of liberty and equality. So let's keep it up here. We're going to end up in a bad place.
We want to say hi to Colleen Chattergoon, who I call Dr. Colleen Chattergoon. She says the people who are making a mockery are not intelligent. I want to say hi to Sherry Williams as well. Sherry, you're coming over by you after the interview there for eat some of your dinner, right? And tomorrow Sherry has her pantry at Jamaica Center at 6 p.m. She
hard work, Sherry. You did some great work, Sherry. You gotta take her hats off.
She pick up 2 loads.
Got him choice, you know?
She go and pick up the food.
And Sherry are dynamic. I think Colleen should be the next council.
Colleen, we want you to run, girl. Sherry went and made 2 trips today to pick up food from the Brooklyn food warehouse or Queens or Rockaway, wherever it is. 2 trips with her own vehicle. No help. And tomorrow she's going to bring it all to Jamaica Center and distribute tomorrow at 6 p.m. She got lots of grapes and pineapple. Always yeah. So Sherry, you're coming. Are we going to eat viral ice cream after at Chivram's, right?
Wow.
But Mr. Baldeo, you hear Colin, you hear Mr. Baldeo say you should run?
Colin's got some good CV. She was the MTA.
Oh, Colin, yeah. She's with the DOT now, too.
Right. So those are good, resume.
Yeah.
And then, she goes in there, she speaks well and everything else articulate. Those are the kind of people we got to put as district leader, or put them to run, or put them to represent this community. Yes. Sherry has always been doing her work, and Sherry has her heart in this thing. Yeah. I also, Sherry, if one of us got elected, we will never look past you.
Definitely.
Because I've always seen her all over the place. It's sad when you think of this, It's sad.
Yeah, we want to say hi to Nirmala Singh, also watching. Nirmala says, what she said? I'm not seeing all the comments. She said, Nirmala says, that's why the Punjabi look down on Guyanese. They will never support a Guyanese business. And that's true to some extent.
Yes,
it is.
I've seen that. Nirmala saying it's true. And I don't like it, and I fight against it. And
we really get some big healing to do now in this community, though, eh?
On a bigger level, like that part you talk about Sikhs and Guyanese, and then you got Bangladeshi too. Yeah. They're not like think about the caste system, but they think that we should have got to paint this boy now. And I know he's a Muslim, but you don't just say, oh, he's the greatest. Yeah. He's a great champion. You don't paint him down. You're doing the guy the service, Mamdani, by trying to own him all by yourself.
Yeah. Colleen says, thanks for the confidence, fellas. Yes, Colleen, we want you to run, girl.
In all seriousness, yes, and probably the district leader too.
Yeah, Colleen will make an excellent district leader.
I have to talk to her.
She's well spoken.
People like to look down on district leader.
We need somebody from that side, man. Yes, Colleen. We get to what people from this side. Colleen is from my side.
Somebody who was about to, she's like over 70. So I got to try and check where she lives and try to work with that. I've tried to get people with that. Don't think that because of district leader, you just want everything for yourself. You want to have people that you want to grow. This is where the community grows.
Yeah. Sherry says, thank you, Mr. Albert Baldeo, Mrs. Assembly District Leader. Yeah, man, Sherry, you're doing a good job.
I respect her choice.
People are not.
She knows job this a long time, so I have no problem.
And as we on this program, Sherry loves both me and Jackneed, and our friendship went through a little, transcend all of that. Our friendship went through a little turbulent times during the, you know, because, you know, she didn't want to choose, and she shouldn't have to choose between me or Japnit or whatever. But today, look, the election done, and we still friends.
And you forgiven Japnit?
If I forget Japnit? Why you have to ask me that question?
Sorry, you don't have to answer right now. But
you put me on the spot there. You put me on the spot there.
And but what I like with you, Leon, is that you call for
no
peace.
comment on that, Mr. Value.
I agree with you. I take it. I respect that.
As it relates to Sherry,
you call for peace, and I love that in you.
Yeah, as it relates to Sherry, we still friends on the same level. Right. We still message one another with me madness whole day, and we still talk madness, and we still talk trash, and we still talk business, and we still have fun, and we still go out and eat. Tomorrow we're going to have ice cream after the pantry. And the election come and go, and we'll all have to get along now again.
Who knows? Politics finds strange bedfellows. Who knows these two candidates who are at war with each other might endorse each other the next election. You never know. Politics is strange bedfellows.
It's strange bedfellows, yeah.
You see Como came out and endorsed Mamdani. And you see Adams talking about how the guy is a snake oil salesman. When Mamdani beat him, here we can say about him, how he's the greatest thing since sliced bread.
So the point you're making is that politicians turn on one another.
They turn on
360 very, very quickly.
Very quickly, and the interests are never personal, but the interests are permanent, meaning that the power structure is keeping, and they have to respect each other. Listen, I've had to drop out of races to strong candidates and endorse them, but I never went back and cut the throat. You know, I always held them, and I accept it. That is very humiliating. Yeah. It is very depressing I had to do that. When I did the polls, when Adawa came out, at that time, he's a city councilman. His father owned a bridge. His father owned the post office. His father owned the schools. How are you going to run against somebody, a playground? Everything is Adawa, like Sherry. I was telling Sherry, what's it?
Algredo.
Sherry Algredo was telling me, Albert, this man owned, he left on everything, and he found the name, and he got the same name. It's like, this is what I've had to face in my life. That was my luck. But what can I say? Do I feel good about it? I've had to live with that. And I know that I could beat such a man. And he should have given me the chance to run, but he never did, you know? Yeah. But what I'm going to say, you know, this is how politics is. Like you said, it's a cutthroat business. It's a vicious thing.
It is, yeah, it is. I don't think I want to get into... I don't think I want to ever run for anything, because that really make people hate you, and that cause a lot of enemies, and...
That got a bullseye in your back.
Yeah. Is if you're a target.
Yes, I think you're well suited for journalism. I think you by the way, journalists are very effective people.
Yeah, somebody got to do that kind of work.
Equalize.
Like we all can run for office. Yeah.
When Mr. Ty Hankinson come here, councilman if he is that, and he comes here, he's not only gonna get a good reception, but from after the honeymoon is over, the honeymoon, days, the honeymoon, we gotta know where your office at, Ty. What you do for this community. You got to publish who you give money to. You gotta let us know what you do for our schools and our mandis and our masjids and our churches over on this side of the Van Wyck.
And we gotta hold him accountable.
Because he say barn here. He barn over this side of the Van Wyck. So if you're barn here, Ty, we don't want it to be like the rest before you. Don't know about Richmond Hill and them people over there. That's not gonna happen here.
Yeah.
And we don't go on, we call it patchke.
This is what I'm talking about. One, them say, run for what, Leon? You can't even run to catch the bus. You see, this is the mentality, and this person need a mental health training, because I'm into them. They're planning a mental health workshop. I think you should attend that workshop. Y'all need a mental health check, because it's not normal behavior to be making those remarks on people, right? Yes. That's not normal behavior. That's not normal behavior. I don't want to bring my education here into discussion here tonight, and you're looking at another educated man over there, right?
It's very demeaning. It's uncalled for, and it shows that you came from very small, poor upbringing.
It's demeaning.
Not me or Leon. I'm talking about the person who made a comment.
To target someone for their physical appearance,
or on any other ground,
right? And that individual there.
Leon, what bothers me?
It's sad. It's
those
really sad.
Those people that attacked you, right? Who said this obnoxious word? are Guyanese when I looked at
Yeah,
them.
yeah. They're all Guyanese, Guyanese people, yeah.
It means their parents failed them. They failed their parents. They will never go far in society. They may call somebody who's about to employ them that word on the streets. And when they go in the boardroom, they can see the same person who's going to kick them and say, get out of here because you said the racist terms or hateful terms or hate crimes.
They say towards you educated and got disbarred and served time.
I'm proud of that. I am very proud of that.
Exactly.
Because I'm the only one who did that, and I'm still, by God's grace, without your help. I never asked you for Palaury, and thank God I don't think I will ever ask you for a plate of rice. I have made myself who I am. I'm a Guyana scholar. I'm one of the proud members of Guyanese society. I've gotten awards coming to my office. You'll see this is from Kelly Jagan alone. You will never live to see that. I was the youngest magistrate ever appointed in Commonwealth history. I know many lifetimes you'll have to do that to achieve that. This was at 23. And so many other awards by name in the law books. I've done what I have to do. But my greatest satisfaction is from helping people. So however you want to brand me that I got disbarred or I got into jail or whatever, I stand there proudly before you. Because God has blessed me and God has made me a champion and a hero. Who has shown people who have been cast down, the minorities who have been thrown aside, how you must lift yourself up, how you must get up and be powerful again. That is what life it is. And that is how you must pass.
Thank you, Nirmala. Thank you so much. Nirmala said their parents failed them. They're failing their children. Leon, these people have to fall on their own face. No need to waste mental health resources.
And they can go to jail for that.
On them. Yeah,
that's going to be a hate crime. A lot of them don't understand.
But the thing is, come and tell me that with a real profile. Why you gotta come with someone else, with a fake thing? Come on, we gotta move past all those nonsense. Look, I'm fat, right? If I can't run for catch a bus, is that a problem for you? Like, I can't fathom these.
The buses will be free anyway.
The buses will be free with Ma'am Danny. Oh my gosh! But it's almost 10:30.
Yes.
Let me talk a bit about President Trump. There's a lot of fear right now. I hear something come out with that green card people shouldn't travel or anything. You hear anything like that?
Oh,
I didn't see anything like that in the news.
This thing is changing so often. Now the thing is not being publicized. It's not coming out on the open thing and so on.
Yeah.
Listen, what I thank God and thank President Trump for, at least he come and broke up Richmond Hill and Ozone Park and South Ozone Park, where are restaurants and people come here and make a living, 3 jobs a day, and I thank him for that. I asked him and Mr. Homan not to come here and do that. I don't mind you go after criminals and who have violent crimes and send them away, gangbangers and gang people and so on. Leon, there's a lot of things going on in immigration that is very, very disappointing. And things that we didn't expect. This has been a nation of immigrants.
I hear businesses are complaining too that things are slow. Yes. People not coming out. Even look, the reunions that are coming up, the organizers are scared that that people will not come out to these reunions.
Look at that, yeah?
Kanji Day, Monripo Day, Port Moran Day, Better Hope, LBI, Bloomfield. The organizers are scared that these will be under-attended this year. So, because people are scared.
Schools and our hospitals at Seminole Fair are going against people going and get their help, and this is very bad. This is a sin.
Yeah. So, businesses since Trump going, I've spoken to a lot of business owners that people are not coming out, people are not shopping as before.
People are afraid to be on the streets.
People are afraid.
And if there's a sweep here, it's going to get worse.
And I think they're when they started out with the criminals, the aliens, but now even the regular undocumented who are
this
being
is the problem. People are going to court. This is the thing when Orlando was arrested, right? I was very unhappy with that.
Orlando. I think that was a political stunt though on his part.
His stunt, he played in to get
he played in. He played in. He played in.
And he's probably going to get a minister, what do you call, like a deputy mayor or so on, especially for finances. But the thing is though, Leon, I mean, they shouldn't be having nice. They have masks, and they have some different...
But these people scared for their family too. They're scared of being attacked out there. That's why they're hiding their faces, the ICE people.
Because they're just doing a job.
Yeah, they're doing their job. They're doing their job.
They got a quota. They got to bring in 300 people a day and so on. So
yeah,
they have a quota. Some of them said, we don't want to be here. We don't want to do this.
But I am in total agreement that the criminals have to go.
Oh, definitely.
Right?
Oh, yes.
And I was surprised that they brought back the guy from Ecuador, is it?
Yes.
The one that they deported?
Yes.
But the administration is going to find some way again to send him back.
Put some charges on him.
On charges, yeah.
So it's difficult for him to fight the American government.
But I am for it and I'm against it at the same time, because I deal with the human beings on a day-to-day basis, the ordinary man, and because I don't really feel it sometimes. Me and you too, like, we can't really understand because we're not undocumented.
That's true.
So we don't feel the real fear that some people are feeling.
That's true.
I try to imagine myself sometime as walking out there and looking around and see if anybody's going to be running towards you to handcuff you. You know, those are the fears that people are, and those are the experience that people are going through.
Well, what I like
out
about
there.
you, Leon, in your own way, as soon as you became eligible for citizenship,
Yeah, of course.
Publicly and said, this is my citizenship transfer.
Yeah, you got to.
When you voted, you proudly said, I voted for my first time in America and I voted it. And I'm sure you probably have a 100% track record of voting, which a lot of guys do.
Yeah. I couldn't wait for vote.
All right, you go on if you knock it out.
Yeah.
Why others can't be like you? That's where power starts.
Yeah, people got to start registering and
going on
and applying. I see a lot of people applying for their passport Sunday at Forest Hills Post Office. But guys, I didn't see anything in the news about any. A lot of people have been messaging me too. Leon, you hear anything about green card people that they should not, that they should stay in the U.S. and if they go outside the country they're gonna have a hard time coming back in? No, I didn't see anything like that officially from the White House. I didn't see anything, but there's a lot of fear mongering happening out there.
Find something against you when you come through the airport. So you know what? Wait until these things settle down.
Yeah.
Speak to the lawyers on it with your own case. If you've had issues in the past, make sure you tell them about it.
I think if you're a green card holder and you on the wrong side of the law, you might have an issue. Right. But people shouldn't be scared. Somebody asked about Canadian traveling green card holders would have an issue traveling to Canada. I don't think so.
No, they wouldn't have an issue.
Canada is our closest neighbor. Is our we share the longest border with our Canadian counterparts. So Trump did say that no green card.
But what without supporting documents, such as if you have a real ID, and upgrade your ID, your driver's license to real IDs, and real driver's license. Go to make the effort. Go to the post office. Go to the DMV. Take care of those things. These are little things you need to get done. And you know, Leon, a lot of our folks are green card holders. Yeah. What's the difference? Go and spend the money. I think it's $700 or $750, whatever. But it used to be less, $300. So many of them I used to do for free, and then register them. That's why I built a basis of voters here that I always come back and vote for me, no matter what people say and talk bad things about me. They know where champions are and heroes are and martyrs, how their life is. I never get thanks, but they continue to fight. They must become citizens. How are you going to live in a country half-heartedly or with you could be a citizen of Guyana and you could be a citizen of the United States. It recognizes dual citizen because Guyana is in very good terms with the United States. We actually feed American companies with that oil over there. So don't forget that. So get your citizenship.
Go for your citizen, yeah.
It can go up, the fee can go up more.
And regard, you mentioned the fee. I was at York when I was voting last week, and they had a special in part of York for the Citizen Now initiative. They help people, like how they helped me. They helped me in CUNY. I went to the workshop at Brooklyn in one of the offices there. And one day, all the lawyers and so was there. They helped us fill our papers, and I avoided the $700 and something fee.
Look at that. Probably because you weren't working and so on.
Yeah, you gotta receive a little Medicare or whatever, and so on. But the help is there. Apply for your citizenship. Don't frighten the test.
Get a waiver from the doctor.
Get a waiver,
the N648 form.
Yeah,
the doctor
can get a waiver.
Something said that, and if you get a certain age, you don't have to do the test. Listen, go forward and do the right thing.
Yes.
At least they record goes, sure, this person applying for citizenship, they didn't get through. Do you think an immigration officer sees that this person is trying their best, going to send that person?
Right,
no. He has a conscience too. You can say, you know what, I'm going to give you a break because I see you tried. You might not make it. But you can get a medical disabilities N648 form from the doctor that, you know, you're physically and mentally disabled and therefore you're exempted from the test. Or you're of a certain age, I think it's over 50 or something.
Well, people, right?
Yeah. And they exempt you again.
Them from the test.
And then the other one too. And you know what? We should also talk about that issue. Tell me about that basement. And let me finish this issue here. And you said, and yes, go to CUNY, like we all said. Your college, any place, there are many of these things. Call them up, 311. Call 311, tell you want a place that does citizenship free.
Yeah.
Or to help
or
people.
Google Citizenship Now.
Correct.
NYC.
Yes, go citizen, and they gonna fill out the form
Yeah,
for you.
everything,
It's a big long
everything.
form. It's nothing hard.
Everything
They
they
give
do.
you the list of questions. Who was the first president of the United States? George Washington. What was Martin Luther King, a civil rights leader? All those questions, you're gonna get them very easy. It's not hard. And I've seen people that have in this office couldn't even read and write their citizenship. There's something you break to. You know, they're not that bad. They know you're doing the right thing. But coming back to that point, be careful how you rent your basements and apartments to tenants. Be careful who you
Yeah,
choose.
that's a very important issue.
Because the problem is this. We've had people, we're not going to call names, who have asked us for help. People going to a place called professional tenants, and then they use that situation if there's a legal basement, like an illegal cellar with no two exits. Most basements are illegal, yet the Jews in Borough Park, they have it legal for them. So that's something we got to fight. Ty Henderson, we got to fight for that. Equalize the law, whereby those city council people in basement apartments in Brooklyn, rich neighborhood, and in Howard Beach, they call them mother and daughter apartments. They must give us the same privileges here in Richmond and Ozone Park, especially if they're safe and they have the right height, they're clean, and they have the two entrances. Because the people here need the extra money, they need a little money too. They're not bad people. So Ty Hankerson has to fight for that issue for our community. Because them got free housing over there in Section 8.
Yeah.
And our people don't get it, they don't even know about that. So we want this law to be relaxed against our people. So Ty, you and Gappa, we do a lot of mental gymnastics here with this community, because we're going to come in with a lot of firepower on you, get you to do the right thing. We're going to help you. And plus, you got to employ our people in your office. You can't only have one set of folks in your office. It must have different people. And it must have Guyanese, Trinidadian, South Asian, Bangladeshi. Yeah, this is Little Guyana, so you got to put your staff, put our people in your office to answer calls and to deal with our people. We don't want people to rough them up and chase them out of the office, as has happened in some council offices I've seen and heard about. That got to stop. So Ty, you got a lot of work to do, my brother. You got to do a lot of stuff to help this community, and we can be watching you. We're not because you're gonna get in there. We can catch you in the open, and we're gonna
catch you and hold you accountable. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta be accountable, brother. You can do it. Work with us. Work with our community. Work with Romeo. Work with Jafet. Work with all the people who run against you. Don't hold on, like Leon said. Let peace be there for everybody. Work with each other. Love each other. There'll be other seats for other people. Don't give up, Romeo. Time will come. You'll get something. You keep working, brother. Don't worry with people telling you this and telling you that and writing things and so on. Turn the eye out over them. I went through all that stuff. Now I'm immune to it. People cuss me and call me out even bad. I laugh. You don't take these things personally, brother. As long as you don't ask for a plate of food, and as long as you don't ask for a short, or a little money, and and I know you don't ask people for that, so more power to you. But what I was saying to the last part that I was talking about, this illegal basements and attics. Don't get people who will go in there and hold it to ransom, because you know how hard it is to get out of a tenant. It's about 2 years in the code. That the first thing the judgment said, you entered an illegal lease, you entered an illegal contract, you can't come out. I'm not putting out nobody, especially if it's winter and they're going to bring a little child like this, or they're bring an old lady or an old man and say, this is my disabled house partner or family living with me. You went to judge, you're going to put somebody like that out. You're going to lose the case. So what I'm saying is this. Be careful who you put in the house. And I think another social influencer was talking about this. Be careful you bring in your house to stay. You might end up being the tenant.
Yeah.
All kinds of things happen here, Leon. You gotta protect yourself.
Yeah.
Best you live in a little part where you're free, as I once did, and happily so, and study and pass my exam and so on. So be careful with that, because illegal basements, you can get problem getting people out. In Borough Park, yes, they lobbied for it and they got it. And you want to know how come basements are legal in Borough Park with the Jews and in Howard Beach, modern data apartment, and not legal in Richmond Hill Park when we got bigger basements, is lack of voting, lack of voting coming back. That's all it went too hot. Guyana weather more hot than what we had in the last 2 weeks. Right, Leon?
Yeah.
Guyana weather when it's hot, it's humid, brother.
Every day of the year.
Yeah. So, and it's every day of the year. We are just at 2 days, and anybody crying use as an excuse.
Yeah.
That's wrong, people. We can't develop our communities like this.
Yep. We're live with Mr. Albert Baldeo. Colleen asks, what are the 3 branches of government? Colleen, I know the civics, judiciary, legislative, and the executive. Yeah. Am I correct, Mr. Baldeo?
Yes, 100%.
Mr. Baldeo had a little book. You had a little book with your test, yeah.
No, that was the Constitution.
The Constitution,
but
the Constitution.
We don't know when to but probably another day we should go through it if you want.
Yeah, but go and do your citizen. You can get a lot of help.
I'm going to bring in Colleen as a tutor.
Yeah, Colleen,
As
yeah.
a pro bono tutor.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Colleen, you hear that? Sherry, you want to join into, girl?
I don't think they mind. They help. We throw a class and help people who can't think they
Again, for those of you watching, Sherry Williams, Together We Serve, will be distributing lots of food tomorrow. Jamaica Center at 6 o'clock. If you're in the area, please pass by, bring your bags and collect something. Sherry collect 2 truckloads today from the pantry, and she'll be sharing them out with the volunteers, and we'll be going live there tomorrow, Jamaica Center there, Parsons Archer. There's lots of vegetables, fruits. Yes, so the activity starts at 6 p.m. tomorrow, Friday. Yes, so we're here with Mr. Albert Baldeo. It's nearly 2 hours now since we've been on. Any other topic you want to touch on, Mr. Baldeo, before we leave?
Well, we talk about the basement issue and so on. And then we talk about Liberty Avenue, how people are passing and quarreling and so on, how then people are coming to the sidewalk. That is true, like after Bazaar and so on. And, you know, we get a little grace period and we go back and talk to them and so on. A lot of them are complying, Leon. I think that these people are trying to meet a bottom line too, right? So we got to do like tough love with them and not supposed to drop the crate, then must be cleaned up and put off in the step. Yeah, like a little grace period of an hour or so to bring the staff to pack up the coconuts or whatever, you know, give it priority though, right? So we got to work with them. You can't just like beat up on these people because everybody's suffering in this community, you know, and therefore we have to live with each other. And but the garbage here, a lot of our people are still continuing to throw garbage. They walk on the road and throw the garbage. They walk and throw the rum bottle. The rum then throw the beer bottle, man. I don't care. And they just walk on and so on, brother. That's not right. So that's one of the things we got to clean up and pick up after ourselves, and so we can be a proud community. So thank you very much, Leon, for all this for your time. I thought we did cover a lot of topics. We will continue to do whatever more we have to do. We'll let peace and unity prevail, and y'all stop fighting each other. I was going to call Rhonda's name to stop this thing with anybody else, and Sabina, them too. Let's make a special public appeal to Sabina and Rhonda to stop this thing with elections. Please stop attacking each other. Let's all live in peace. Thank God we get life, we got love, we got a beautiful summer. Let's try to heal this community. Let's try to heal. Let's forget about the past and so forth. You can see how Leon has already reconstituted himself to go forward and to let the community heal and call for it. I have to echo his sentiments and endorse what he's saying. And I thank you for your example, Leon. I think it's a very, very great example you've set. And I hope that people can follow it.
Well,
it's a right
personally, if somebody keeps saying things about me, I will be tempted to respond.
It is. It's aggravating.
It's human. You know, and I might do this. I might have done the same thing what those Rhonda's doing. I might, you know, be tempted to respond to. You know, but I thank God that I don't have to do it at this time. But you know, the election is over, and we gotta cool things down. We gotta lower the temperature, and we gotta, all of us who supported Romeo. I'm personally disappointed, but we gotta move forward now and hope Ty Hankerson keeps all his promises, and I'm saying this. And yes, Sherry says peace. Yes, peace. You know. And yeah, somebody said, Leon, try to ignore as best as you can. Yeah, when it start with me, how I gotta run for catch bus and this and that, and
them must gotta run
how I eat in whole day,
but them must be worse than us, and they're not showing if it's themselves.
And hi Pat Jaila, she says, do you know who won the election? It's gonna be Ty Hankerson. The results haven't been finalized, right?
Right.
There's going to be he hasn't reached the threshold of 50%. So a rank choice. We have something in New York that's called rank choice voting, where they do the elimination from the bottom up, I was told. And then that process will be completed next Tuesday, July 1st.
Right. So we have the final results.
The final results, which is going to be Ty Hankerson winning. He's projected to win.
Just
yeah.
like Mr.
Mamdani. Zoran
Mamdani.
Yeah. So right,
he's
Pat?
one of us. I mean, brother, we have never had a brown man gone to that level. You know, that is what my heart beats for.
Yeah.
But I gladly give free bus and free food, and I don't have to worry anymore.
Free bus and free
Lord, you
food.
got a heavy load of refuge, brother.
Colleen says voter turnout was low and that needs to change.
True.
That's true.
You've been in our community.
That's true. Yeah, voter
Colleen
turnout.
in our community is shameful.
Yeah, Colleen was on the ground on election day, I might
shameful.
add. She, you know, we were all together with Romeo and so on. Colleen was on the ground, great foot soldier, she, Nirmala, and Rhonda, and
Yvonne, and they were
Yvonne, yeah.
I'm glad that they did a lot of
He
those
had
names you called them, Yvonne and so
he
on.
had a strong team.
He had a strong
He had a
loyal team.
loyal
The
team,
was very
loyal
Everyone's
team.
talked about
I
Nirmala,
was talking, yeah, Nirmala.
Rhonda, those are the names.
I was telling Nirmala the other day, me and her, we were chatting privately. I said, Nirmala,
Yvonne.
you and Romeo real tight, you know, because you're so loyal to him. You almost, you know, must go back a long way. And, you know, because she's very close to him. And, you know, and then I met his family and so on election day there. They went and voted. My mom is on the live. Hi, mother, how are you? She said, good night, Mr. Baldeo.
Good night, good night.
Yeah, but this voter turnout thing,
Suseran.
this voter, yeah.
Suseran.
And,
Say my full name.
and she said, this by not come home.
Yeah, we got Rocky home too now.
Oh gosh,
You
but
got some good food there, you know, your son, make sure you got you warm dinner and so, you know. But your mom just cooked some great food.
yeah.
Your mom was a great cook.
So, but voter turnout that's a real issue,
I
right?
think it's
Like you gotta go beg people and coerce them for vote,
Listen,
like
yeah, if you,
you know,
Guyana,
cajole them to vote.
you come to a great country, right? You don't vote. We never had a voting guy. If you vote,
And hey, every year you get election. Every year you get your opportunity to get your voice heard. In Guyana, it's every 5 years your voice are heard.
And you see the people that will come and give us what we want. The governor, the
Yeah.
mayor, them accountable. You see politicians here, not like back home, you can't see them and then fancy. Like Bornham, I used to see the big limo, you see the black yard, you see the horse rider outside, you see the big fancy vehicles. You don't see he not stop, he got to Belfield, flash past Bedho. He was like God, G.O.D. Quote unquote, a fake emperor. In a minute, says sick, somebody say, guys, says sick.
Oh.
Go you call them, let me be politically correct and say sick. The sick and the Sikhs and the Bangladeshis are at the gate, so to speak, of this community. And let me use the term because you know what? Rightly, they want the empowerment, they want the businesses, they want the houses, they will buy out and so on. And you know, we have to respect that. But what happened to the Guyanese who've been here and built this community? So coming in Little Guyana, we now fight for preserve that. We got the pillar to pros. We got run go Australia now. We can't move from here. This place you don't get blackout. You always get water. You don't get any kind of problem here. You get medicine and so on. It's still better than Guyana. Don't say Guyana gonna be Dubai. I mean, I say where Dubai there. I mean, I see where they're gonna be. So I don't realize some people tell me going to run for office in Guyana and run for president and run for that. Now, I realize that at least I get a very good standard of living here, Leon, and my son and so on. I have to take care of him in his education here. So I'm not going to turn back all my years of taxes and all that I've done in here and just say, let me go to Guyana, because you know how people are going to treat you there. They're going to want to say you're American and they're going to start criticizing you.
Yeah.
You know, so let peace be and let our progress continue to run here. I'm not saying that we've always helped Guyana. We've been helping. Anytime Venezuela make trouble, we're going to make trouble here too with the Congress and so on and Black Caucus. But what I'm saying is that we need to understand that charity begins at home. That if y'all don't vote, politicians, let me tell y'all something. Politicians just pick up the same statistics. Americans are a land of statistics. And they're going to see that people in Richmond Hill, Ozone Park, and South Ozone Park will vote to the people like South Jamaica houses and Rochdale Village. And then you can have a politician in charge. He can come and start to try to use that argument. Well, you know, I have to preserve my base. I have to preserve the people who support me. I have to preserve any kind of rubbish you allow him to get away with. We don't want that. We want that nobody could pull up those so-called documentation and statistics and say, oh, this body got a vote more than these. No, we mustn't allow that. You've just got to go on the block, 2, 3 blocks. Leon did it 100%. He come here, he turned citizens right as soon as he can, he made it. Why can't others like that? You prefer that people send you home? They can't deport a citizen. You cannot be deported if you're a citizen. That is the advantage of that.
And some undocumented people, they try in hell and high water to become regularized people. right? They, you know, they're trying their best to file whether for asylum or getting a good lawyer to plead their case. I know some people personally who work hard from being illegal or alien or whatever you want to call them, derogatory name, from undocumented. They rise up and they make something of themselves in this country. And today they become citizen, and you know. But some people just prefer to just relax, and you think he can come to you on a platter. You think the status gonna come to you just like that. No, it's not gonna come to you just like that.
And their congressman and Assemblywoman Cruz.
Yeah.
She was a dreamer. She was illegal.
Yeah.
She's now an Assemblywoman. Very powerful woman.
You gotta work for what you want.
You see, a waitress. That's one of the most powerful voices. I'm sorry that Zoran forgot that woman's name.
Oh.
I was listening to his thank you speech and he forgot to mention AOC. And he mentioned Lydia Velasquez, who came in last, late to back him, but there was AOC change again for him. But I'm sure he's going to make up for it.
A lot of undocumented rise up from the ranks.
Of course.
And they become somebody in society today. Colin says the mentality needs to change. You cannot expect improvement in quality of life issues if you don't go out and vote.
You can't go and quarrel. Where your money comes in, your name is there, your benefit goes. People pull up your voting record and see you don't vote. People quietly behind your back and pull up your voting record and see you don't vote. That's how they can find out things about you without you even knowing. So if you pull up a record and say you want to be a good employee, top employee, the only thing they look at your record, yes. And they say if this person vote every single primary and things since going back 10 years, I think that's the person I want to run my office and they hire you. You got to realize this thing had benefit in it, you know what I mean? I never vote in Guyana. I couldn't vote.
You never vote in Guyana?
It was like they never had no vote in place. People are thief and vote and put them in ballot box and so on. Then you got a place you go, you're frightened and get beat up on all kind of thing.
So we should count our blessings here that we are in one of the largest democracies, one of the freest democracies, with one of the freest electoral systems. One of the most transparent.
Exactly.
And so that's why I'm very energized to vote at every election.
And look at them lines we got in
oh yes, for truth, yeah. I voted in 3 elections in Guyana.
And I think the last one we had
lots of long lines.
To Timbuktu. Look at them lines we going there. You know, when I voted this last time here in this 100 degrees, it took me 5 minutes. I run in and run it back and say, look how quick this is. And Adam's lines, look how quick it is.
Quick time you go in, you come out. And you gotta plead. It's so different. Like, you know, you have big ballot paper like this. It's so strange. For me, when you know, look at the 2 systems, and then there's no ducking in ink. You wear a nice sticker because the system is so trusted.
What I like is a pen. They always give
you a pen. They don't duck. That ducking in ink mean it's for trust. They have trust issues. That's fraud. You can go back with a plantain stain in your ink, and I'm gonna do it this September 1st. My name is on the list in Guyana still. It is on the list. But they give you that big ballot paper, and then you gotta go in your cubicle, and then you gotta feed it in the scanner. You know, that's a privilege of an American process. A lot of people dying to be part of that process, and so many people have that privilege, guys. So many people have the privilege and they're not utilizing it. They're not going out and vote.
And you know when you put the paper ballot inside the machine, you know there's a second chance. Nobody's going to redact on the vote. Nobody's going to deprive you of that vote. That vote is there
That vote is gone, forever.
That's your legacy in America.
Nobody can steal that.
White people don't think of this.
No Mingo or no spreadsheet.
Exactly. They're going to share spreadsheet and spreadsheet going to come about. And all this foolish. Now they try to go on, it becomes like a joke now. I don't know if they're going to get convicted.
I know. Look, another election coming again.
Exactly, and this whole thing turned like a...
Thank you, Reverend Ben. Mariana Singh says, ask Uncle Baldeo if you're playing cricket tomorrow.
Oh, yes, I am.
Tomorrow there's a game?
They got the Independence Cup final. Not final, but you got 10 teams coming from all over the world. Guyana sent 2, Fisherman and Regal. You got 1 from Florida, 1 from New Jersey, 1 from Georgia. We got our own team here. We're going to play over 50 Masters. You know?
Okay. Like Mr. Rockaway went to England and do the over 50 there. He's back,
Oh, he come back?
He come back.
He wants to play with us. I don't know if we might be there tomorrow too.
Somebody says, I now wish I can vote in the U.S. That's a privilege that is sought after by many. That's the zenith of American citizenship.
American citizen.
When you vote.
The country just give you American citizenship. Must give you them citizenship.
So
go Switzerland, go Australia, see they don't get citizenship. Canada and all that. You got to fight hard. America gave that to you, a land of immigrants, treat you a better man who doesn't even know his father, like he does his stepfather, and so on. Barack Obama could become president of the United States.
Yeah, so that's a blessing.
To come from India, by Rainier and his father, Zoran Mamdani, can aspire.
Yeah, a Ugandan,
a child like Mayor Adams, who had learning disabilities, can become mayor. Which other country, man? Show me.
Ariana V says she want to come out to one of your tournaments.
Oh, Ariana, yeah. See, Ariana is a very nice person. She's very positive. I like her. She should keep up the positivity. She's always encouraging. She's one of the people that we should push in this community because they have broad minds.
Yes.
And, you know, those are the open-minded, broad-minded people we need to have around us.
Colleen says, we are grateful to reside in a democratic nation and a privilege made possible by the dedication and sacrifices of the men and women who fought for our freedom.
Oh, thank God for that. Well said, yes. And especially July 4th coming, we just passed
next week,
Memorial Day. Those people died for us. Imagine how other people died for us. Now our children are fighting right. We're doing our part, but I'm saying that we came and inherit some other people as well, the civil rights and the army things and so on. Oh, and Ariana, congratulations on her child. I saw it on Facebook.
Oh, he graduated.
Yes, one of her children, I can't remember which one, but one that graduated. So congratulations, Ariana. You're doing a great job as a mom.
Yeah. Want to say hi to Rhonda is on the live?
Oh, Rhonda.
Hi, Rhonda. How are you? Rhonda. Rhonda was on the ground a lot. For on election day. I don't think she worked that day. With a regular job. No. And then your Mala and everybody. Man, I enjoy it. And I always say if it's one thing that Romeo campaign come out good, is that me and Rhonda patch up.
And not only that, it shows the reach of you two people that, you know, whenever you guys do a video, it goes all over the world. Oh, yeah. And I'm sorry that we just deal with a small little piece.
Rhonda has a big reach. Rhonda, and I told her about it. She has a talent for analysis and so on. I told her, and the public knows this. I give jacket. Look, it's not all about me. I've never believed. I'm not a person like that. I always try to see the positive and the good in other people. And
yes, you should keep it that way.
I love to praise others. It's not all about me, and it should not be all about anybody else.
Well,
in this community, everybody has our talents, and we share them and we use them differently.
You know what I like with Rhonda? She has always said that she don't know elected officials, and it's very important what she says. Because you got this lady, Lynn Shulman, you got Ty gonna come in, have the office down here. You got this lady Ariola, who's a Republican, but she's right down here. Gregory Meeks, who used to have his office by me here at low cost, and he don't come as much as he should. And you got Senator Comrie, and you got Sanders, and you got David Weprin, and you got Joe Dabo. So we should take Rhonda with us as a group, where we need to lobby these people and yourself, because you guys have a reach that they will have to pay attention to. These are not ordinary people coming and asking them for favors or for a certificate or what. These are people holding your feet to the fire. What are you doing for us? What have you done for this? And you see, as long as I can get that kind of support and people with us behind me, then you will see the real person that advocated me. But you see, when it's me alone, sometimes I get break mind. Sometimes, you know, you get pushed down. Sometimes they all come together and squeeze you and squash you. But this community is growing, and our social media, I think, is one of the main weapons, if I can put it that way, or one of the main strengths of our community that they have to listen to and respect. Yeah. And that's where you, Rhonda, I don't know about the flow, which part, you know, this boy took...
he doesn't seem to, who?
Always curious.
Farad, yeah. Farad was on the ground with Romeo too, yeah.
That's the one thing with Romeo, he brought about the best in social media.
He united a lot of us.
He showed them the
He bring a lot of people together, and
that should be permanent.
And look, you have they're saying now, and they've been saying that I am scared of Rhonda. That's why I'm being so nice to her, and you're scared. That's what they're saying here. Albert frightened Rhonda, Theon frightened Rhonda. So this is what so like people can't get along. So it is always because of they're scared of somebody. Like you can't genuinely believe that somebody
what's wrong with reconciliation? What's wrong with being nice to somebody?
Yeah, no, that's wrong to be nice to somebody. It's because you're frightening the person. That's the way how we think.
Oh, Mahatma Gandhi said that only the strong can forgive.
Yeah,
the weak can't forgive.
So I can't
Last thing I
understand,
said it.
again, the logic of our community, of our people, of some of our
And
people
I've
who
learned
think.
that you just gotta be.
That-
I used to
that's-
be hot-headed at one time in my younger life as a lawyer and so on, fight with with the cases and so on. But I realized that listen, everybody has a right to speak. We are listeners. There must be something that they might not have liked, or might have misinterpreted, or might not have seen in the right way. And you're willing to meet and say, this is the reason why so and so happened, or so and so happened. You know.
Yeah.
So there's always room for compromise.
Yeah, they're trying to paint Ron as a bad person. And there's a lot of fake profile with me now. I'm hearing people sending me things, Leon, you see this? Look, it's a fake profile. Please report. There's like 5 fake profile with me, Suseran, on TikTok. I don't know. She didn't.
Hello, Rhonda, if you're still on.
just saw
This
the
is
name.
Albert Baldeo saying good night to you and wishing you all the best.
Yeah. So, you know, nobody. It's crazy how we think and how you know how
And you know
low-minded.
what? I
It's
read
all
somewhere where you're
low-mindedness.
trying to blame Rhonda
Low-mindedness.
for Romeo's numbers and so on, but that is very
Nonsense,
because
nonsense.
You can't blame
Nonsense.
people
Nonsense.
who have tried their best to help him and to have interviews. And most of the interviews were very positive interviews. I never had that in my time, where people give you a chance to say who you are, what you plan to do, and I thought you were all very good at that.
Nobody affiliation will cause anybody for
No,
thing.
it's
No.
not.
You think people? You think the voter when they go on that paper, they thinking about any affiliation,
Correct.
any social media affiliation? Come on,
You
no.
know what? I heard Romeo feed the poor people during COVID and
In fact,
I heard Romeo is the president of the Lions Club, which is a service organization. And
No, nobody got time to think
There's
about
no
who
help.
affiliate with who Romeo affiliate with for not vote for him. No. I don't believe that. Right, Indy
me
Mohan?
too, yes. It's just like the other person telling you about some stupidness
Yeah.
about we frightened Rhonda.
Yeah. So, again, we're wrapping up. It's after 11 p.m. I usually watch my 11 o'clock news before I go to bed. Guys, thanks for... Mr. Baldeo, first of all, thank you for your time.
You're welcome,
You
sir.
take time out to
And then
do
cricket
this.
play tomorrow.
And then you got to play cricket
First
tomorrow.
game in 13.
Yeah.
It's at Seaview, folks who want to come. Seaview. The Seaview and Brooklyn. The
Yeah.
exit there.
Yep.
Rockaway exit. Rockaway Park exit. I think.
Idlewild? Idlewild Park?
Idlewild, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
No,
right,
no,
guys.
no,
Yeah.
only
You play too in Guyana or?
I used to play big cricket in Guyana in 19 and so on. I had to go and study and give up. So I had to give up a lot of things in my life, you know. I had to give up a lot of things in my life, Leon. Social relationships, girlfriends, what have you. A lot of things and so on, and try to focus on my father was strict and so on, you know. So that's the only thing left now with cricket, and then I was well suited for this thing because I don't have too many vices, and thank God I don't drink and smoke, so therefore, you know, I can at least live the life and I don't womanize, so that then people, I'm like a natural fit for political life because people can't pull me down. The one thing they tried to do was a political case.
Oh, Ramola said you used to play with her dad.
Yeah,
Ramola
so
Prasad.
she's another nice
She
person too.
but she
Ramola,
asked.
what are you doing?
Ramola asked the question: why wasn't this before the election to help our very own?
Why wasn't this? Oh, you mean this interview?
Yeah. Is it an interview, Ramola, or yeah, calling lots of my girlfriends on the live. Yeah, but listen, I've always advocated in supporting our own. There's no if, and, or but about that. As I said, I'm always drawn to our Guyanese people no matter what. I want one we own there. And I hope
We're not focusing on what we achieved over here, you know. We have also built this country, and they must recognize that. I was upset with the ICA, you know, the Independent Federation, ICF, that they didn't pay attention to that, because we have earned the right. 3 decades, that's 30 years, 40 years. And we cultivate this place. Like you said, it's bigger than Guyana. So therefore, you know, this is our own, and we're gonna make it happen.
We got to put everything aside. Look, if I not like somebody, if you know,
Look,
put that aside
Was me alone first,
and
right?
focus on the ballot.
Now you got Richard David. You got Romeo Hitler. He's made very impactful.
Yeah, Romeo.
Yeah, you know what Bo say? He got some percentage and so votes. He's made an impact. His name is not out there, good or bad.
Yeah.
In politics, you name recognition is what comes, good or bad. You got myself. You got you know, you got people, right? You got a young girl named Rhonda Binder.
Rhonda Binder, yeah, Rhonda Binder.
I don't know if she came
Rhonda
up
Binder,
much,
it was their deputy borough president.
Was she much in the Romeo campaign? I didn't see her
Not
at
to my
all.
knowledge. She is with Gracie Mansion right now.
Yeah, but I know
With the Conservancy there.
I was at his
But
opening
Rhonda
and
is-
so on and supported him. And I may not have supported him as much as other people thought I should and so forth.
Nirmala said the Guyanese in this community will never support another Guyanese. They would prefer to throw a clown in the face to divide their own. They did it to Richard. I guess Richard David she's talking about. Yeah.
But you know, everybody supported Richard too, you know. Richard didn't have no Japanese on his back. Richard had Congressman Meeks and all of them with him. But he, to me, like he ran a poor campaign and he came in close. But he had all the county endorsements against that boy Callahan Anderson for the council.
Rusat mother Indy is saying, what about Rusat Albert?
Rusat deserves a lot of. I don't know if Indy just joined.
Yeah,
but
she just joined. Yeah.
complimented Rusat that Rusat ran in this race. And Rusat got over 1,000 votes as a Republican. And that is not an ordinary feat because Republicans are 3 to 10. I think they're outnumbered 3 to 1. So Rusat bravely went against Adrian Adams, and he couldn't even care who she was. And I admire the man's courage, and he got her worried. So now that I know, okay, Rusat ran last year, another guy is run this year, Hitlal. You can't ignore those people in Richmond Hill. You can't get them back the same 5% and no cooling centers as Rusat said, and no. He had some very good issues. The young man did a lot of research. I like him. He did that, and he did a lot of research. She couldn't stand him in a debate. Adrian Adams could not defeat Rusat in a debate.
Okay.
Rusat was going to kill
Rusat
her.
don't fumble for words.
And, you know,
The
his
words
legal
flow. Yeah, the
background
words
and
flow. And
his
he bright.
flow,
He's a young, bright guy.
He
Yeah.
the woman did not want him to debate her. That's why she probably didn't take matching funds. And hence, Scott should have had to debate. So, yeah, and then she had outside people spending for her too. This is what I don't like. The same thing happened here with her hand-picked successor who didn't even live in the district. These are bad things, you know, and Ty knows I'm against these things. But he said he was born in Ozone Park, so I got to see if you're born here, buddy. How come you can't give nothing to us? You know, and how you could probably the same BS. But coming back to Indy's question, Indy's a nice person. She's brought her son up well. I admire what she did for Rusat. By no means is Rusat finished. Rusat is certainly somebody who can run again. It all depends on what he decides to do. He's right now with Curtis Sleever as a campaign manager, deputy campaign manager.
Okay.
And if whatever deal is cut, who knows, Rusat will still be in the mix. And definitely, we expect to see her son as one of those who's elected in the very near future. I will never put him down. And he's a bright young man.
Yeah, Rusat Bright.
And he's very articulate. And that is where, when they see a guy like Rusat debating them and standing up for them, they got to listen now. And I think Rusat is a name that we should bring with us, with Rhonda, Rusat, yourself, Colleen, Bramola. These are the names, Nirmala. These are the people that we need to put in a group, a civic group, whatever, a leaders group. And we go and confront anybody from Congressman Meeks to Ty Henderson and to whosoever, Ariana, you know, Ariola, all of these folks.
Yeah, Nirmala said Richard had his own who ruined his chances. Ramola said, for what it's worth, these men have paved the way for the future Guyanese. Time for more unity in town hall meetings. Indy said, thanks for your wishes.
Exactly. We need to get more town hall meetings where these same names I've called will lead up discussions and bring them here and bring the city agencies. The first thing Mr. Hankerson got to do is have a town hall meeting. Free. Whosoever we get it done. And we're going to work towards this and bring all the Department of Environment, Labor, Resorts World, JFK Airport, bring all these players that suck our community and don't give us enough jobs. And tell us what service you're going to give us, how are you going to solve their trash on Liberty Avenue, how are you going to solve a small business association, how are you going to help senior centers, how are you going to help community centers, how are you going to help us with some of that tax dollars that we have been paying?
Well, here, this one we're calling say here now. And I pinned the comment because this is what we've been talking about for the past 2 hours. This brings it the gist. The Guyanese people of another candidate intentionally supported another candidate to split the votes, driven by spite.
But you know, you can
I
can't argue with that, you know, because I mean, in all fairness, Romy played first, right? He did reach out to everybody.
He declared first that he's running.
Called me, called David. I mean,
Yeah, he did tell me that too. He did tell me that.
To his credit, he did. And
to find out, to clear the way
surprised.
that I'm running, that hey, I'm running,
Exactly.
to say that you know.
By the way, when I did that in my time in 2005, another candidate suddenly appeared because certain individuals like Totoran went and dig out other people to come out and run. You know what I mean? He couldn't do it himself.
Why is that? Why people
But
do that?
and this is the most successful
why?
lawyer in Liberty. And this is the kind of mentality that these guys have. They don't want anybody to come because they want to be mayor, quote unquote, quasi-mayor, quasi-leader.
But is the more we split the vote, the more long we can take for reaching there.
You can go to your house to clean trash. He ain't got the power. You gotta get some person to do the donkey work. It's not great work you do. You gotta call people, and they're like, but you know, it's nothing wrong. But you gotta have a mind for public service and to blast government and get them to answer you. You gotta get a rough guy like me. I'm not a guy looking for popularity. But if the trash is not picked up and the people are raiding us with basement and raid the whole block, then I got a problem with that. Because why you going to within Howard Beach? You must go to YouTube and see my testimonies, how I blaze Howard Beach. I put them with Rockaway and don't bring them and put them in Rothschild Village too. Because this is what we have been going through, Leon. How much more we can take this nonsense?
Yeah.
I spent a lot of money for the people in Rothschild. Bring lawsuit for them to change the board and start the blackout. You know those people took everything from me, all my money I spent on them and didn't vote for me. I mean, I did get votes there. But they voted for their own good, nothing but suck the blood. So what you expect me to think?
Yeah, Nirmala said in this neighborhood need outside mediation. There are many crabs. This is why our own children are discouraged from helping this community. Romeo declared that then the Singh family threw Japnit in the ring to divide the people. So that is true. That is very, very true. And that is exactly what happened. And that is why today we don't have one of our own there in City Hall.
He has a record now running against a guy. And he ran against me. When I ran against
he ran against you, Japnit.
Yes, about 2 years ago. And he ran against me when, I think, was it with weapon? No, he helped somebody. He helped a Bangladeshi guy who dropped out the face of the earth. And he think that the same thing was telling Shanaz, don't go with these people, they're going to drop you out. And they did that to Shanaz, who got a musical sensation. She and I don't understand, you know, what is loyalty to our people. And I you know, she don't even want to take a picture with me. I said, okay, that's fine. I don't need a picture with you.
Shanaz?
I got a picture with President Clinton, and I don't think you could beat that. So, you know, I mean, Bloomberg and all these people. So, coming back to, you know, our people are like that thing. That doesn't surprise me. It doesn't bother me. But what I was telling you is that the point about having all these people and having this grassroots and this town hall, like people like Rusat and I like to have Rusat because he's a legally trained man. He's a lawyer and so on. So I want him to be able to. I won't want to use the term follow my footsteps as such, but I want a back. I need people to go hand in hand with me, because when you're fighting these agencies and you got all them out there, MTA, you know, health, hygiene, environmental, garbage pickup, sanitation, and so on. There's a whole bus, I don't want to use the word load, but you got a whole battalion that you got to fight. So you got to get back up. So when you got Colin from there and me and then so on, that's the only way you can bring them to the table. That's the only way you can get them to really listen to you. Got him, listen to one person and Blanc came, but then they got Leon coming up and then they got Indy coming up. And
it can't be a one-man show.
No,
and the more people involved, the more people of different backgrounds and so on, appeal to more people. You appeal to more people.
You bring them in. And then they all say, you know what, this thing, basement, the man's calling for equal treatment to the Borough Park so we can get a little extra money so we don't have to go beg and drum food supply and food pantry line. Then they can see the love and what is the power of numbers. And that way, Leon, we can really build our community and do better. I think that is why we have to go that way. There's no other alternative. And like I told Minta earlier, she's one of the people we can utilize, but she conflicts with her job. She might want to go because she's part of the city council. She got I tell her, leave that job. Come and you own a bill and you can run to, you know. But you can't run in your daily establishment. People see it as an establishment candidate. You got to be independent, you know. I mean, Romeo had a lot going for him in that regard. He wasn't attached to any government agency. He wasn't like a council member. He wasn't like a chief of staff carrying all the baggage of the you know, that's what the guy break away.
He come like Mam Danny with a clean record.
Right, and he break
political
away.
record,
And if you notice, even Ty broke away from his boss at the end. I didn't see them appearing together.
He didn't want her baggage with him.
Exactly, trying to come up with his own thing. But when he started hitting with those independent mailers, I was upset with that because you know, it's the same message and the same thing and this and that and bashing other people and so on. And when they hit one with Japney, Romeo didn't get that hit. Japney had one that is sent on him that he was a Republican that he never lived in the district. I think they took this one
Oh,
on
Amela?
research. Amela,
Oh.
you see that thing that Rhonda did, the 3 points?
Yeah.
Which to credit Rhonda did some good research there. I would credit her with candidate research. They took all of Rhonda's work, put it in
Oh,
fire,
yeah?
and hit it on Japnit alone. And that killed him, I think. But thankfully, Romy didn't get that. You know. But you're right. I mean, I'm surprised that it's Guyanese fighting Guyanese. This is not like sick people fighting Guyanese.
Yeah.
This was Guyanese fighting Guyanese at the lowest level.
And that's the worst fight of all. When we fighting among ourselves, we're only self-destructing and doing more destruction to ourselves and hampering our entry and our frightful place, hampering our chances at becoming involved and at the seat of government. You know, at every level.
You had like, you know, various folks doing that there, and it's so beer. That was it's so brazenly and so like in your face type of thing. You know what I mean? I've never seen that to that level before.
I have never seen anything like that in this. What happened this election? I've never seen it before.
Totaram, Horman Singh, and
yeah, I've never seen what played out. I've never seen.
A guy named Jay Rakar. I didn't even know this guy from a hole in the wall. He's a real estate guy. They used to go on a radio program and bash me for 2-3 hours. We didn't have this thing yet then. Bash bad things about me, bro. And I come from very good family. Forget about my problems I have. My brother's a doctor, my other brother's an engineer, my sister's a teacher. We're all from good family, all successful people. But they used that one incident that I had where they took advantage of me to say my Baldeo's a bad person, how he get this and he get to jail and blah 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 blah. And it's over nonsense, you know. So, you know, but God is good. He always resurrects us. He always gives us a view. He always builds us back, and to God be the glory.
Yeah.
Then you had the man over there, Reuben Wills. I don't know what was his situation there. You know what I mean? He brought nothing to the table.
Right.
He gave out one mailer. But in doing that, he caused votes that could have gone to Romeo to go to him, and that was like a wasted vote because Reuben was not really running for anything. He had a half-hearted campaign.
Yeah, and he was like more agreeing with Japnit a lot of times. I saw in the debate, like the two of them was like, was they working together or something?
But even then, Japnit was wrong or was not tactful enough to put that guy as a second choice, like what Mam Danny did with Landa and with the other guy, the Jamaican guy. So that was a mistake. If the two are so close, you could count and said, this is my second choice, Reuben Wills, especially since Romeo wasn't getting along. And he probably felt bad if he jumped in and spoiled Romeo's chances. And I told Romeo, I said, if this guy ever come in, and I heard rumors that Lakshmi Singh was pushing him. And I told Romeo, I heard so-and-so, can you stop this?
Okay.
And to me, like Romeo didn't try hard enough.
Oh. So you tried to nip it in the bud right there and then to get Japnit out the way.
Because he had come up with a very good opening. He had everybody with him.
Right.
I was very impressed with that.
Yeah, I was there.
From the time I heard about this guy coming in, knowing that his name recognition was fresh in the community and he's always been around, blah, 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 I realized that Romy would have had a problem. I said, Romy, your only problem with in here is that guy. How can you talk to him? And I heard that, certain people in the Guyanese community are pushing him. Not many, but just a few. And they didn't stop.
Japnit said he wouldn't run if Romeo ran. Well, he truly lied.
Yeah, Japnit himself?
No, Nirmala said that. Colin said, Albert, it's good to see that you recognize those who lack the class to be ashamed of ourselves. No, sorry. She said, hold on. She said, Albert, it's good to see that you recognize those who lack the class to hold back their own behavior. Ramona said, I was shocked at scrapehead behavior at the polls.
What they had
Nirmala said they witnessed real bullying at the polls. Yeah. No, Ramona said I was shocked that scrapehead behavior manifested in our Little Guyana. Yeah.
Well, I did see a video with Japnit being threatened with arrest.
Oh yeah. For being within the
pole and they'd warned him 3 times.
He would have got.
I'm saying, what's wrong with this guy? You can't do that. You got to be 100 feet away. And he was going up to the front of the pole site, and it's school entrance. I don't know which school it was. I didn't recognize. I think it was PS 161.
No, it was the 226, the one by Rockaway and 120 there, yeah.
Right, and he had to be 100 feet away from the pole. So he should know this because he's running many times. And he was deliberately going in front of the people, and he has this massive height and whatnot. He was overpower everybody. And the couples and the constable, the police officer said, I'm going to issue you with a violation, a summons, which is like could have been a criminal offense. And Javdin just brushed it aside.
Your mother says thuggish behavior was at its best at the polls. I have the videos. He did it at PS8.
You have to ventilate these things because we can't tolerate that.
Somebody on TikTok is saying, explain why Romeo has 9%. Look, come on, you have to stop this craziness. He worked hard and he worked for his 9%. Let me say this and let me address it. Romeo worked hard wherever he get. Whatever votes he got, he worked very hard for them. And you can't go out there and get 9% vote. Whoever is saying that. Right? He worked hard for that 9% that he get. Right? Many of us can't go out there and shoulder what people like Romeo, Richard David, and Mr. Baldeo and all of them do to run, to get votes. 1% is hard to get. 2% is hard to get. When somebody get 9%, why is that something to be mocked at? And it's solely because our people didn't come out and vote. Right? And we were in a system that really failed us. The gerrymandering of the district, all of that played a lot of role, right? So we can.
Somebody said they gotta get low till all the play and Doc Cardi forgive them. Then
and keep big party.
Big party and no freeness. Come on, just to vote. You don't mind doing that? You will do that at the party. 9%.
Come on, you gotta stop this thing with 9%, right?
Man, I want 5 glasses to go drink rum till he get drunk.
Right?
Forgot gamble at the race.
He worked
at casino.
Yeah, he
worked.
worked.
He can't go vote.
He worked hard for his 9%. Let me say that. Right? It's right. It's let those of you go and run and try to get 9% out there and see if you're gonna get it. All right, but it could have been better if more people put their shoulder to the wheel. If more people came out and support him publicly. Nirmala said Japton camp did a smear campaign for 8 months, and all of that played into the 9%. Let's give Jack its jacket. Let's call a spade a spade.